As we meet again, what's up, Band Day Gang? Double tap the screen, y'all get in here. Sorry for the wait. As we meet again. What up, Dr. E?
Right.
Breaking news, y'all.
Oh.
Like, share, and subscribe. Please hit the like button. It ain't enough time in the day to be C-Dub and Dr. E, y'all. Shouts out to the Diamond Gang. Shouts out to the Grace Bills, the T, Black T Sector, Dolph Sector. Shouts out to everybody. We right here. Let's go. Y'all get in here. Let's go. Hit that like button. Make sure y'all spam up. Slap the like button on the ass. Do what you gotta do. Band Day Gang. Let's go. Class is in section. What's going on, Dr. E? What's up, everybody? What's up, world?
It's cracking.
Yes. We hoping everybody having a wonderful day. We want to thank you guys for being so patient with the channel. We up for some big things, y'all. And, you know, like I said, it ain't enough time in the day to be C-Dub. Hey, what's going on, Nurse 59? Nurse 59 said, what's cracking, Dr. E?
What's cracking?
Salute to everybody. You know, we got some big things planned for this channel, so we just want to thank everybody that's been so dedicated to supporting us through the ups and downs. And like we gonna redo this whole channel, everybody, and it's gonna be live here in a couple months, y'all. So just thank you guys for bearing with us and being patient. But let's keep pushing the line, y'all. Breaking news: we got 11 in the building. Please double tap the screen. We gonna get right into it, y'all. Salute to everybody. Let's go, y'all.
Well, and we are also now joining us now by phone is Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram. He had been following this breaking news story and has all the details on what happened. We're so grateful, Chad, we have you by phone. Can you break this down for us?
Well, Tommy, this is what always happens when we have something like this. I always start to check in on the security situation at the White House, but this is what happened around 6 o'clock this evening. I'm told that a gunman came up near the White House on the west side, what is described to me as Gate 17. This is kind of near 14th Street on the west side of the White House. And came
distraction after distraction, everybody. It's just like distraction after distraction, gang.
True.
Came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. We don't know what type of pistol it was, but he then fired toward the White House 3 times. And the United States Secret Service, they returned fire. We don't know how many shots that they got off, and they apparently took the gunman down. Now, sometime in this gunfire exchange, a civilian on the street was struck by this gunfire, and we do not know.
So now they got agents that can't shoot right now. They shot somebody sitting on the side. I said, damn, what's going on, as I'm gonna just say Alexandra.
Man. Non-shooting there.
Non-shooting gang? Like what?
The condition of that person right now. But the important thing to know is that the gunman who came up with the pistol and was taken down by the Secret Service, and we don't know his condition right now, but he was
taken out by the Secret Service. They don't know his condition. What was this, y'all? We gonna get to the bottom of this. Hit the like button, y'all. Let's go, Band Aid Gang.
Not inside the perimeter of the White House, and this is according to a senior administration official with direct knowledge of what went down at the White House this afternoon. This was right around 6 o'clock Eastern time.
So, Chad,
hey, what's up, James? I see you.
Correctly, this was somebody who was just firing in the direction of the White House?
It's popping caps.
ChatGPT, what's the best high-income skill to learn in 2026?
He was firing in the direction of the White House.
It was something that the Secret Service obviously perceived as a threat. Obviously, we're told that gunfire apparently was directed toward the White House. If you get toward the west side of the White House, and we're trying to figure out precisely where this was, you have
a
executive office building now called the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, which is kind of a big complex if you're working from west to east toward the White House. So we know that he was firing in the direction of the White House, and this is the preliminary report from someone who's very senior and would have direct knowledge of this information. Again, a lot of people in town. There was one.
I'm sure he didn't think Trump was going to be right out there outside. We don't know why he did. Is it a center of attention? Did he want some attention, Band-Aid gang? We got to hear a little bit more about what this is going on, because he knew Donald Trump wasn't going to be somewhere right here. I think Donald Trump walked across the street one time, and that's when he had that Bible in his hand. Went over there to that church. That's the last time Donald Trump ever walked on that damn street. I said, damn, double tap my screen, stop playing with the channel. We got a major catastrophe going down in D.C. today around 6 o'clock.
To question me earlier, even before we had this information, there's a lot of motorcyclists in town for the Memorial Day event. They always come for this time.
Yeah, put it on them, Dr. E. Put it on the bikers. Please put it on the bikers. Put it on them. The bikers had something to do with it. I said, damn.
Motorcycles backfiring or something like that. There's quite a cacophony of that. But this is clearly someone who came up and was firing at the direction of the White House. And the president, of course.
Was he a biker? See, it's like that when it's, you see what I'm saying? We don't know what color if he was black, they would have been they would have knew exactly where it was, but a black man ran in and started shooting. I said, damn. No shame. Hit the like button. Stop playing with us.
This is at the White House today.
Hey, Chad, Kevin here. If I could just get you to break down again, based on what you've heard, this person was taken down. Does that mean they have been neutralized, or do you think they sort of made physical contact with this person? I'm just trying to get some clarity there.
This man looked like a young old man. What? See these people? Who sent these people? Why are they looking the way? Who is this guy? Look at his edge. Look at his face. He looked like a 13-year-old kid. But he grew up. Oh, man, time travel is real, Band-Aid gang. It is so much going on in America. Let's go.
That they were shot because the Secret Service returned fire.
We don't know what's real from fake out here, y'all.
And have you heard from any cabinet secretaries or any other high-level officials about what's happening?
Yeah, this is all we've gotten right now. It's Memorial Day weekend. People are spread to the four winds. And the reason I,
truth be told,
that, when I used to cover local government, and the best stories about the county sheriff's department would come out through the county commissioners and vice versa. So when you cover Congress and something's happening in the administration, a lot of times you check
Dr. E, what you want, that laughing gas over there?
Yeah, pretty much.
You serving laughing gas at the fuel station? Hey, y'all, Dr. E has some laughing gas. Y'all know how he be, y'all. Hit the like button. I mean, you have to laugh from crying on all the stuff and all the distractions that's going on in America today, y'all.
Man, that part.
Exactly. It is so much going on back to back to back to back to back. And we don't know what's real from fake. And we're about to get straight to that right now, y'all. Because now it's a shooting. We're not going to tarry on this for so long, because it's going to be another distraction, and another distraction to avoid what is happening with these Epstein files. But y'all see the door is starting to open back up with the Epstein files, right, y'all? And every time it get quiet on these YouTube streets, guess what happened? It's another pop-up from Epstein, and then there's another distraction. Absolutely, Alexandra. Absolutely. Make sure you sub to the channel. Now, here's the thing, gang. Tomorrow we got a good live. I had to switch some things around because, we always on top of things. But remind you that I am a truck driver. I'm always going east, so I go up 3 hours, then I go back west, and I'm back down 2 hours. So it'd be so hard to calculate my time when I've been going, especially lately, y'all. So, again, hey, you guys are wonderful. You guys are a great support group, and I just thank you guys for being with us. But we ain't going to stop rocking shows, and we're going to be on another platform streaming through there, too. You guys are so dedicated, so thank you so much. So let's get straight to the meat and potatoes. Hit the like button, y'all. We just wanted to start off with that. What's up, Damon? Band-Aid gang. We got the gang in here. My mind's pulling up. Yeah, y'all hit that like button. Let's get straight to the meat and potatoes, y'all. It's been so much going on. So this is breaking news. It was a shooting. Apparently, it didn't hit Trump. So to me, it's not that big. The more important things is what I'm going to show you guys today. Me and Dr. E here. And me and Dr. E had a wonderful chat last night. We just go everywhere when it's just me and him. And we be like, damn, why we just can't have this conversation when we live and it just be so natural. You know what I'm saying? So I said, damn. So here it is, y'all. Double tap that screen. If you're new in here, make sure you sub up. It ain't cost you a dime. It ain't cost you a dime, y'all. Band-Aid gang, let's go.
Department of Justice just announced they're not going to prosecute anybody with their name on the Epstein files.
U.S. government confirms it will not prosecute anyone in the Epstein files. But I mean, you guys saw how fast they got R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, and Diddy. Not saying what they did was right, but so crime is legal now.
So if you got a few billion dollars, fame, and all that, you can kill a motherfucker. You can hunt live people on Epstein Island. You can cook. Look,
basically, that's what they saying, right? You can hunt live people, and they just told you in the face they ain't prosecuting nobody that had to do with the Epstein file. Y'all see how they try to slip this stuff in, y'all? Doctor, you want to elaborate off of that, gang? Doctor, you want to elaborate? I mean, help me out, please. I mean, shit. We just can't let Eddie do it all. Like, what the hell is he doing to us out here, y'all?
Man, but he telling the truth. I mean, they do all this crazy stuff in our face, and then it's like, it's supposed to just blow over our head, or we supposed to go with it. The audience is not 1957. You feel what I'm saying? And they still think we in them times, and we not. We internet. We all tuned in, and we just up on game. So that's what Eddie's pretty much breaking down. It's like, man, what they trying to pull on people, because this is some bullshit. And that's why he just being a clown with it, because he's like, you can go hunting on Epstein Island, all this crazy stuff. Nobody ain't gonna even do nothing to you, So that's what he kind of saying about this shooting. It's like, if this would have been in the hood, they would have been on it. But because it happened where it happened, they like, somebody shot toward the, how you just casually shoot toward the White House? It's supposed to be one of the highest guarded places in America, and people, there's too many times they coming too close to Trump, and yet at the same time, they're not even doing nothing with Trump. They keep missing. I'm just saying.
Yes, I agree. and everybody, one thing that we do over here on this channel, we know how to duck a motherfucker. We over here doing the Neo. You remember when they was shooting at them and they was in slow motion? That's how we had to do YouTube, gang. That's why we was running up too many numbers. So I said, let me switch the narrative, do it again. They demonetized our channel, gang. We had to go somewhere else. So many people have been going through this. I'm gonna show a clip of a big CC. They did the same thing they did to us, gang. They don't want you talking about Trump or these Epstein files, y'all. So I had to duck them because I got a trial date coming up. I'm gonna go to YouTube trial, y'all, July 15th. But we will be back. But we still making money on the other side of the game. On this new channel, we finna come in and do the same thing. Stop playing with us. But see, I'm ducking. I'm not always talking about it. That's why y'all see me moving the way I'm moving. Because I'll never know what they want me to take off of my channel. They didn't do that. And this guy simply explains this situation. But see, shit's getting... It's okay. Let me read what Truth Be Told said. Truth Be Told said, it's not guarded. I rode there today. It's only tourists taking pictures. See? Ain't that crazy?
That's what I'm saying. How you not guard the most important place in the country? The president of America is supposed to be the chief and commander of the military. How you not guarding this dude? And then they the Secret Service, they shot an innocent bystander or something. What the? Right. These people are supposed to be trained. They supposed to be shooting every other day when they ain't got nothing else to do. They shooting. You know what I'm saying? So when something pop off, they fit like the military.
It's a bystander, y'all. Who shot him? Like, was it did the shooter shoot the innocent bystander, or did the Secret Service shoot the innocent bystander? We want to. Who shot him? Who shot who? Who shot Kennedy? Hell, let's go. Who shot Kennedy? Talk to us, y'all. We want to know. We've been waiting for years now. We know that man that they say shot him didn't shoot him. I said, damn, hit the like button, y'all.
I'm not ready for that one, but you're right. You know,
shit, who shot Kennedy?
We still wondering.
Who shot Mo 3? I mean, come on, gang. Y'all got all this technology. Y'all can't find out who shot Mo 3, but y'all done zoomed in on Amy Eskridge's hands and made her hands all them colors and all of this type of shit. And all this 5G and all this X-ray shit, and y'all can't find out who shot nobody. Stop playing with us, man. This is why they don't like me now. This is why they be trying to sabotage my channel. They don't want you on YouTube no more. Well, shit. Now, if they're paying me a lot of money, I would have had a motherfucking fit out this motherfucker. Hit the like button. Now shit finna get real strange. See, y'all know how I do you. Hey, I do you all type of ways on this YouTube shit. Now, this next clip, this shit finna blow your mind, because y'all know I go out there and I fish and I catch me a big bite. I'ma reel that motherfucker in and y'all gonna be tripping out. So y'all hit that like button. Let's listen to what Eddie got to say and continue with the commentary.
Children, slice them up and eat them and serve them at a plate. Let that bitch Ellen DeGenerate allegedly eat all the children. Yeah, a box of pizza for everybody. This is America. Oh, they showing their true colors now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ain't hide behind no mask no more. They just coming out saying Q and Q, voting rights, slave.
Now, did y'all hear what he just said, Dr. E? Band-Aid gang. He said they not hiding behind a mask anymore.
That's right.
And when y'all get to the next clip, when we get to this next clip, I beg to differ. Y'all know how I line it up, Band-Aid gang. Nurse 59, you been here for a long time. Truth be told, you've been knowing me for a long time. And y'all know when I put some shit on the timeline, it all makes sense. So that's what he said, Dr. E. Band-Aid gang. Whoever in here, bushwhackers, people in there with a plastic bag. Yep, clean up. Clean up crew. Yeah, the clean up crew. Y'all up in here too. Now listen. He said they're not hiding behind a mask, right? Let's go, y'all.
He's back in Louisiana. It's about to spread across all 50 states. Trust and believe that. It's go time, y'all. We ain't war, motherfucker. General Zach, reporting for duty. Shit. Ha ha.
Oh. Top 5 credit hacks if you have
from that election, and have you seen that report?
I think the elections are so rigged.
Now, I put this up for a reason, because y'all know we all got to have a good laugh, truth be told. But the next clip is going to talk about the mask, not Dr. E. Band-Aid gang.
Okay.
I can't make this shit up. They say you got to be aware of your surroundings. Does anybody... I'm going to wait for the chat. This y'all turn. Does anybody see something strange with this goddamn picture? I'll wait.
What's that to the right? Is that a melon belly? I mean...
What's going on in America?
What the what?
Does anybody see any? This is what we do over here.
Is that a shirt that's too short or something? I mean, like, you know,
what is going on? Nurse 59 said they got a big bellies. Yeah, but look at the guy. Is that a titty? Is he got a titty stomach? What is this?
What the what?
Is this some kind of sign and symbol that someone in some other place supposed to read? This man is literally having a baby.
He just casually behind the president. I mean, yes. Come on.
Trump didn't get a picture check like, oh, I want him standing behind me. That shit don't look right. Like, come on, bro.
probably would have shot that shot off and missed.
Why? Yes. Why is his belly so big, bro? What is in there? What
Why
are
it's
we
not
looking at here, y'all?
It's supposed to be tucked. I mean, even a fat popo would have a shirt tucked in. It's not even tucked. It just came unfolded and it just started rolling up.
Yes. And it gets crazier and crazier as we continue. All right, gang. I just had to, and there's nothing really important that Donald Trump is saying on this clip, because he never says anything that makes sense or importantness. But this shit in the background, this man with this belly, I've never seen. I thought I was like, is this a woman that's pregnant? But no, it can't be a woman because he got on some slacks. This is a man back here, y'all, in the picture with a big ass belly button, gang. And his stomach looks like a titty.
And the dude to the left is almost there too, but at least it's tucked in.
Right. Hit the like button. Double tap the screen if you don't know how, if you ain't got that option.
Is this all the security in this shape? I mean.
Right. And again, y'all, we moved our live about should a woman submit to a man for tomorrow. So we going in tomorrow. We ducking and dodging these people, and we doing it right. Well, today, because it is a new day, y'all, because Angel corrected me. It is a new day. So tonight we going to bring your drinks, come with your books, and we gonna have a relationship matter, because we got some good clips that we want to show everybody. So let's go into this, y'all. Now, remember what Eddie Griffin said, that they what about the mask, Dr. E? Can you please correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, he was saying
they're not wearing any masks anymore.
Yeah, they're not wearing them. They just being straightforward with it. You know what I mean? But they figure it's going to differ. Right.
Dr. E, well, I'm going to have to beg to differ on that one for you.
We have to do something about it, and we're going to do something about it. But we cannot continue to have, and frankly, the Senate and the House, they ought to get together and they ought to pass the Save America Act so that you have a voter ID.
Let's get into it, y'all.
It's so important
y'all know how we do over here.
Citizenship.
Wait a minute. Take a look at this.
In the eyes of the Iranian people, but the world global economy, which
I said, damn, hit the like button. Dr. E, they said that they not wearing a mask. Well, what the hell is this, Nurse 59? This is breaking news. It's all over the internet. But see, y'all wouldn't know because y'all ain't me. Y'all don't, the gang, listen, y'all, I do this for y'all. Now, this shit gets weirder and weirder. Now look at this, Dr. E. Hit the like button.
They're holding all hostage to, the more everybody comes to realize this is all about the IRGC. At the end of the day, we're going to have to need a government in Iran that not only hands over the nuclear material, stops threatening the Straits of Hormuz, but quits exporting the Islamic Revolution throughout the region, causing the collapse of Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, Syria, and as well as in the eyes of the Iranian people.
So this clip from Fox News Live is really spreading like wildfire across social media, because you can clearly
look at his neck, y'all. Look at his neck, y'all. Now what? Now, and check his tongue. Now watch this, y'all.
tell that this man, this entity, whatever this happens to be, is clearly wearing a mask. The man in the clip is retired Navy SEAL commander.
Now that's him. Retired Navy SEAL commander, y'all. So this is a real person. So what's the difference? So what is the difference? Now, when you look at the face that we just seen, the head looks a lot more smoother. Is he trying to make himself look young? Is he trying to hide what he is about to turn into? I'm confused. I'm confused. So that's why I said they are hiding behind a mask. Now look, y'all.
Robert Harward, and I believe he was talking about Trump and the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody really knows.
He was talking about Trump, so this ain't no makeup shit. This is real life. So
he does have one of them Hollywood masks on, you know, like them rubber masks that they kind of put on with makeup. That's what it does.
Yes. But why did he do it? Let's get a check at his neck, y'all. Let's check the neck.
Because we are also focused on his neck. I'm just waiting for the fact checkers to come out of their toilets and sewers they reside in to tell us that our eyeballs are lie balls and that what we're seeing we did not actually see. Here's a photo of him very recently on the right, and here he is on the left. But not just that, somebody
now look at his neck right there, Doctor. Do you see anything?
And he even,
do you see anything? Look at his neck right there. What is he?
Yep. From wrinkle to non-wrinkles, like he's trying to cover it up for some reason.
But what is this neck turning into?
Like
something different? Why did he do it? What is he trying to cover up? Just can't be his neck. He's not covering it up there, y'all. Hit the like button. This is the shit. Now look, pay attention.
It sounds different.
Involved, but again, their interests are at play here, but so are European interests.
Hear his voice there, y'all? Hear how he sound like a frog, like a reptilian? Doctor, listen to how he sound like a reptilian, gang.
Not just that, somebody compared his voice from just a couple days apart, and he even sounds...
His voice from a couple of days apart, and they just said he even sounds different. Listen, y'all.
Different.
Involved, but again, their interests are at play here, but so are European interests, the rest of the Gulf nations, and so far, every time on his hands. He controls the narrative, he controls the strike capabilities, and he knows.
He definitely sounds different. Now, it could be the simple fact that different news agencies are using different audio adjustments, but given the context of what we're talking about here, it still adds to the strangeness. Some people believe that this may be a deep state individual, maybe from another country, wearing a mask, pretending to be him. Even the CIA has come out with multiple articles talking about a chief of disguise having hyper-realistic mask. But why would they want to impersonate Robert Harward? I mean, what sway does he hold? To me, this reminds me of the TV show V, where the reptoids in disguise, their masks start falling apart. It's just very interesting, quote-unquote, coincidental timing that right before this, we had Fox News talking about reptilians among us.
4 different types of life.
4 different types of life.
4 different species of aliens. Another scientist called them Greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails like a lizard.
And it's not just me saying this, but for example, this post on Reddit that currently has 1,200 upvotes, somebody took a still frame of this interview and they're saying that at certain frames, his tongue almost looks serpent-like. Could even be a robot, who really knows, but no matter how hard I try to make sense of what I'm looking at here, the only thing I can see is a mask. We had the very insufferable Chris Cuomo come out and say, what a silly thing to focus on and drive suspicion. Deal with reality. There are plenty of legitimate concerns. It's not a mask. And then he goes on to say, even if I don't know what it is, my not knowing what it is does not make it what you say it is. So he doesn't know what it is, but he knows it's not a mask. And you may agree with him that there are more legitimate concerns, but I do think it's okay for once in a while the public steps back and says, what in the world was that? What did I just see? Especially in the time that we're in, where we do have the news and media always lying, and we're in this quote-unquote alien agenda stage. And while Chris Cuomo is tweeting people, telling them not to talk about this or focus on this, he 3 days ago made a video with Neil deGrasse Tyson, an hour long, talking about the very garbage government UFO files. Why we need to now start taking UFOs very seriously. Give me a break. The whole thing just flabbers my gas. You know who this makes me miss? Tiffany, that MFer is not real Gomas, or the woman known as Tiffany Gomas anyway. But talking about reptiles, this news came out about one of the king lizards.
Do not be alarmed by what you're about to hear.
This is Radio Caroline. His Majesty King Charles III has passed away.
Just to be absolutely clear, King Charles III is alive and well. And whilst that announcement went out on Tuesday, he was on an official visit to Northern Ireland. Radio Caroline, based in England, has since apologized to the royals and their listeners for this scare, blaming a computer error for the mishap. But this isn't the first time the death of a royal has been wrongly announced. In 2015, the BBC ran a rehearsal for the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, according to a BBC Standards report, some staff were notified about the rehearsal.
Now, here's the thing. I hear what you're saying over there on the vertical side. Now, be careful, because this is not a pit stop. You know, I'm going to just pull my car here and say what I want to say. Hey, fucking fill it up. Hey, This ain't the fill up channel. Now we will knock your drawers off and get you up out of here. Never be able to come back again. Just be careful what you say and enjoy the content, because we don't play the troll and the bot game. We don't do that. Now, here's the thing. I understand you saying here's the thing, but just be careful. Be careful. Respectfully. Now, enjoy the live. Okay, there you go. You laugh again. The same thing will make you laugh. What they say will make you laugh or make you do what, Dr. E? Same thing make you laugh or make your ass cry.
Make you cry, yeah.
And we'll get you up out of here. First class flight. I tell the chat to put the rockets in the chat and we'll shoot your ass to the moon. And you see somebody got their eye on you, so we ain't got to live like this, Bob Cards. Because I can, Bob Cards, because you came in here, Bobby, and you messed up my chat. Now, Nurse 59, go ahead and put you in the hospital and tighten your ass up with that wrench. Now, be respectful. What you got good to say? Because this ain't that type of channel. You made the wrong pit stop. Okay, thank you, Bob. Appreciate you, Bob. Make sure you sub up. See? Be nice to people and we be right nice back. Now, let's go, gang.
But not all. That meant that a journalist working for the BBC's language services saw an internal monitor showing the rehearsal. They began posting about the Queen's death, causing widespread speculation. The BBC then issued an apology whilst the posts were deleted.
Oh, I was so alarmed and worried that I even flipped my desk and was completely
Don't knock him down yet. Damn.
More than likely, he's just getting into a new form, but I do find it interesting that came out not too long after he had announced digital ID for the United Kingdom. I guess he served his purpose. But I do wonder when they announced this officially.
Let's get to this next clip, guys. I'm going to slide through.
Going to make a return.
Or we going to get to the commentary.
With Queen Elizabeth telling us this.
That's what happened.
President.
Somebody recorded this guy talking to his reflection. And something weird happens. He leans towards his reflection, but his reflection doesn't lean back. Watch.
What the hell?
I said, damn. His reflection didn't lean back. Did you see that, Dr. E? Talk about the other side of the game.
I thought it was twins standing next to each other talking at first. And I'm like, it's the same person.
So he was actually looking at his reflection and talking to it, you know, and in the mirror. But when he leaned forward on a certain part, the reflection didn't lean forward too. Again, that could be AI or whatever the case may be. There's so much crazy shit going. It's hard to tell the difference from real to fake, and that's what the era that we living in right now.
In the last months, I mean, AI has really been like taking over the media and like
Absolutely.
all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So we must be more careful. You know what I'm saying? Because you know we can get what we think is real mixed up with the fake because it's so close to real now that it's really taking that effect. You know, you just look at all the stuff that's being posted on social media now. It's like, wait a minute, is that AI? No, that's real. No, it's AI, but they recreated it. Why are they doing that? So they started like they're trying to get control. It seems like of like old history things and put it together where they're using AI to kind of tell the story, but then it's getting confused, and now you don't know the real from the truth. You know, I caught myself doing that today too. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, is that AI? But then maybe it's good that they're using it. Then at the same time, it could be bad they're using it because they can put false narratives and false creations in there because now we're going to start getting used to seeing that, especially in this new generation.
Hell, they can lock your ass up off some damn AI shit.
That part too.
And you not even been and did nothing. If they want you real bad, they create an AI video on your ass. And you know, when it's you against the government, you know, they can make that shit seem really real. If they want you.
That's
if they
what I'm
want
saying.
you. And I believe that's going to be one of the things that happens here in the near future. is that people gonna, when they want you bad enough and they don't want you to talk anymore, they can really actually create an AI, the government, and put you into some conspiracy shit that you never had nothing to do with.
Especially with this new generation, because they have been immune to, like, you know, videos. All they like to be seeing videos and characters and stuff like that. So their eyes are going to be harder for them to detect the real from the fake, because to them it's all make believe is real to them. You know, these children now growing up in the video era, so now they get ready to grow into adults. This is normalized for them. Where for us, we grew up on black and white TV. You feel what I'm saying? To color TV, to video games. So we can kind of, decipher the difference, but a lot of the new creations is getting harder for us to do it. So just imagine what it's going to be for the next generation. That's all they know in all their life. They're going to believe everything they see that's being presented to them. They're not going to know, it could be fake media. They're going to think it's real because it's real to them. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do. So on this next clip, everybody, we're going back to, there is also a 17 missing, now we're at number 17. There's another missing scientist that we're going to cover that as well. Damn. Now, we all know the story of Amy Eskridge, and I think it's going to get even deeper when it comes to these scientists. So we know that she had a new fix to the anti-gravity. So it's seeming like we're coming to an era in time that when these scientists are coming up missing for a certain reason, because whatever bondage that they're going to try to put us into, these missing scientists have the capability to help the people like us get out of the bondage that they're preparing to put us in. And that's just my opinion. What about you, Doctor? I believe that these scientists, something big is about to happen, and having scientists and people that knows what's going on, they trying to take them away from us, game, because they're gonna try to enslave us again, y'all.
Yeah. I think the scientists will tell the truth, like we was just talking about. Like, they have got to the point where it's like truth is truth and fake is fake, and I think it's getting to the point that a lot of scientists like, I'm not going to sit there and say this. Where 40, 50 years ago, scientists like, well, okay, we're going to keep it secret. I think it's kind of coming to that realness that, like we was just talking about, the new generation of scientists is not going for the okie doke. Or they feeling like, before I get, knocked off or whatever, I'm going to tell the truth. So it's just that this generation of scientists has grew up more realer, but I'm just saying for 40 and up, because like I said, again, they like say in their 20s and 30s coming out and want that first job being a scientist, they will probably go along with the bull stuff, even though they know it's fake, because they grew up with fake. Feel what I'm saying?
You remember when Amy said that there were other beings, time travelers, and stuff like that. And I'm also going to show another video on that, because I do want to get this out for our next commentary. We're going to cross over. Sundays we're going to have coming up next Sunday, we're going to start having like a Sunday class, y'all, where we're going to show you guys the real from the fake. So basically, I'm getting that video ready right now. Bear with me, y'all, but I'm going to continue to talk about Amy. But I just wanted to get this video pretty much prepared for everybody to see. So let's go ahead and continue.
Mysteriously died or disappeared. Anti-gravity researcher Amy Eskridge allegedly died from a self-inflicted gunshot in June of 2022 when she was just 34 years old, according to the Daily Mail.
Eskridge was a chemist, an entrepreneur, and a co-founder of the Institute for Exotic Science, a Huntsville-based research organization that she led as chairwoman and president. Her father, Richard, a retired NASA engineer, served as CTO. Together, they built the Institute around a specific and deeply unconventional focus: gravity modification and exotic propulsion research.
Frank Milburn, a retired British paratrooper and intelligence officer who says he was in contact with Eskridge before her death, shared shocking messages with the outlet. One dated May 13th, 2022 read, "If you see any report that I killed myself, I most definitely did not. If you see any report that I overdosed myself, I most definitely did not. If you see any report that I killed anyone else, I most definitely did not."
In the months before her death, Eskridge told at least one person that she believed she was being targeted.
Milburn says Eskridge told him that she had been the target of repeated physical and psychological attacks. including.
And as y'all remember when she was saying, Dr. E, that it was a car outside and they was looking at the license plate and they had a different license plate, and her and her friend was talking about the car's license plate, and the guy actually got out of the car and changed the license plate. And some things in her house, when she went home, it looked like someone had been in her house, like they were actually bugging her house. And you know, psychologically, these people know how to play those psychological games with people, bro. And it's crazy because we're going to continue to listen.
From a directed energy weapon, a device said to emit focused energy capable of causing burns or other physical harm.
Retired British intelligence officer Frank Milburn has stated publicly that Eskridge told him she had suffered what she believed were microwave burns, allegedly caused by an RFK band emitter operated from a vehicle near her location.
See? You see what I'm saying? This shit get deep, Dr. E. What's your outlook on this, gang? For real. I mean, do you think that she's over-exaggerating? I mean, the girl was a genius.
Yeah, I think she's telling the truth. Like I said, I think she's one of them scientists that's going to tell the truth, but the government wants to deny her. So she's like, I'm going to just put this out there because if I get knocked off, I wanted to know that the truth is out there. You know, I think they just getting tired of playing it, you know, the secretive game. You know what I mean? They have grown up like, you know, this needs to be told, where the other generation was kind of like, we'll go along with the secrets. We kind of getting away from, I think, a lot of the secretness on the secret societies because people want to know the truth. We have come up in the real, keep it real generation. So I think that has slowly crept over to, I guess you say, American culture. Facts. You know what I mean? Slowly creeping in that people are feeling like, look, I'm going to just go ahead and say the truth. I'm tired of playing the bullshit games, but you got that divide because some people still got the fairy tale world they want to live in. They want to keep that whatever because maybe it's financially
so many
good.
People are you absolutely right. So many people live in a fairy tale world. Sometimes we have to tear down the old way and rebuild, right, y'all.
But see, the thing it is because they're getting paid. Just like, you know, like we were talking about, you know, I'm the one who put it out there. We always speak about the Illuminati and all this other kind of stuff. Why are them people going with the fairy tale? Because they're getting paid to be up there. They want, you know, it's a fantasy dream to them to be the richest of whatever, to be the best whatever, the greatest R&B singer, rapper, whatever. But in reality, it's kind of like you're not the best.
You're right. And everybody, mind you, when these people come up with these anti-gravities, cars that run on water, all these different things, that's taking money out of their pocket. They don't want these inventions out because they're not going to be able to capitalize on us. They're not going to be rich no more.
And what it is, I'll say one more thing.
We're slaves to them, y'all. And we worship these people that don't mean us no good.
I want to add one more thing to that. Like you just said that real, you know, piggyback off what you're saying. Science is pretty much like, you know, just say an educated person is going to school, top of their class, and they know science like it's like the back of their hand. They want to make sure that they actually helping the world. This is what they made to believe when they're going to school and learning things, that I'm going to invent something, I'm going to come up with something, and I'm going to change the world. And then the secret society groups like you're talking about are saying, no, we have the oil, we have the, you know, uranium, whatever they're using at the time, and we're making a lot of money off of this. So your invention is not going to work. We don't want a car that can run off water right now. We want a car that's going to have to take batteries because that's what we're going to be into in the next few years. You feel what I'm saying? It's stuff like that, you know, to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. And we got to start waking up and saying, no, wait a minute. You know, if we know 10 scientists and came up with a vehicle that can run off water, we want to use that vehicle.
And if I may piggyback off of you, if I could piggyback off of you, my brother, like just like you said, and I'm glad we moving like we moving because again, when you have scientists that want to do right, they come up missing because whatever bondage again that this country is planning, this whole new world order is planning to put us in. When we got scientists and with people that with knowledge that can get us out of that situation, they don't want us to have those type of people around.
Right. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. You know, and it's crazy because what they keep forgetting, like I said, this last, I'm just going to say 40 years of technology and existence of people, it's not just a few scientists that know what they know. Me, you, the audience. You know, a lot of us are educated. A lot of us know what's going on, and a lot of us can tell real from the fake. So you're not going to make us like, I'm just going to say 70, 80 years ago when people couldn't read and write. It's a different audience that you're selling this fakeness to. And they still think that the majority of people, black or white, doesn't matter.
Keep talking,
They
my
still
brother.
think,
Keep going.
they,
Keep
they
rocking
still
the show.
they still think that a majority of the people are still back there. You feel what I'm saying? 70 years ago that we can talk to these people any kind of way because they dumb. And it's not, we're not that. We're too advanced because we have grown up, like I said again, with video games, computers, and now a lot of us, you know, especially our women in this country, are what 90% of our women, especially the black women. I'm gonna put y'all on a pedestal. Y'all the most educated women out there on the planet. And y'all run the country because without you guys, there would be no corporate America. Straight up. Let's see what I see.
I said, damn. I said, damn, y'all. So let's continue. Now, it's going to get deep. Let me see. We got a Randy Scargate. Dr. E, that gate, the Stargate, the one thing I sent you, was that Iraq or was that Iran?
Iran, yeah.
So it was Iran?
Stargate?
Stargate? Okay, let's continue, y'all. We're going to get to that. So we're going to follow up with that. So let's go ahead and get into it.
I've been typing on this fucking offline computer right here. Super fucking sensitive.
Now listen to what Amy's gonna say, chat. Amy's gonna say they couldn't hack into her computer. Right, Dr. E? They couldn't her computer because she's advanced, she's a genius. She knows all the ins and outs so they can't get her information. So the computer's built, or she got something in the computer that it can't be hacked. So this is why her hands have been raided, so she's going to go into explaining that. Let's go, y'all.
And shit for the past several days with this window right here to my right and that window door right there to my left, and I've been my hands have been burned to hell and back as I've been typing, because you can beam me through there and through there, and you can get a 3D image of what I'm typing, because this computer doesn't have.
So they beam and you is anybody getting what? Put a 1 in the chat if you're understanding where she's going with this. Do you understand where she's going with this, Dr. E?
Yeah, a little something.
So I'll rewind it back because I want people to understand. So she's
Wi-Fi card.
She's explaining that
you can beam me through there and
they're beaming her. Well, Band-Aid gang, how do we know what is true from fake? Okay, let me tell you. I lived in Huntsville, Alabama. And Dr. E, I worked at the age of 20 years old, right before I turned 21. Because before I got ready to go to the club, I started clubbing in Huntsville, Alabama. Same place she in, and that is where Redstone Arsenal is, which is Von Braun. They have the NASA Space Center in Huntsville, Alabama. They call it the Rocket City. So you know that, right? So it's also known as Home of Technology.
Yeah. Shouts out to Alabama and
yes, right. So I have witnessed back when I was 20 years old, I used to clean buildings through a contracting company, right? So I was like a janitor. And we would clean all of the military buildings and stuff, right? So they would have test areas. Like sometimes we'll go in and do a building and they got like this red light and we couldn't leave that facility because they were testing. So I've seen rockets flying. I've walked in the weirdest rooms with mass computers, a lot of things I've seen. So one Pacific day, I used to always go into this building, right, Dr. E? And it would smell like sulfur, but nothing was active. Right? Now, this is a true story, no bullshit. So listen to what I'm saying. So when she's saying this, it makes a lot of sense. So, but when you walked in the room, Dr. E, it was nothing in there, but like, looked like a bathtub, right? Looked like a tub, like tubs all over, like a long, like long places where you would wash your hands in, like multiple people could wash their hands, but it's like a long thing. There was nothing running in there, but it smelled like sulfur. So I always used to be like, man, well, I wonder what goes on in this room. And I would see on one end, it was a circle, and another end, it was a circle and like a long tube thing, but it was like rows of this shit. So one particular day, Bad Day Gang, I walk in there, and guess what's going on, Dr. E?
What's that?
Where those two dots were, it was a laser, and it was on. It was a red light going, so I guess where those things that look like tubs was what keeps it cool. So that was a water place. I guess water ran there, but I must have walked in the wrong time when that shit was going on.
Oh, wow.
So when I walked in, my skin felt like it started to itch real bad because I started walking past it and I'm looking at this laser. I'm like, look at this shit. It was like a red laser beaming from that one dot end to the other end. I'm like, look at this shit. And all of a sudden, bro, my skin felt like it was like all over. It was it's itching like a sting. You feel what I'm saying? And I ran up out of there real fast and I started like grabbing my arms like, what the fuck was that? You feel me? But that's the only time I seen it. So when I'm hearing her explain this, so basically what she's saying is they want to know what she's typing about on the computer, right, Dr. E? They can't hack the computer. So they're bringing in a ray to zoom in on her hands to see what she's typing. You see what I'm saying? So something is moving in, seeing the letters and what she's typing to figure out who she's communicating with because they can't hack into the computer. So they have to see what she's typing. So whatever this ray is am I making sense?
Yeah, it's wild, but the more I'm thinking about what you're saying, I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying. You know, some highly advanced telecommunications, I guess what you call it that, right? So yeah, that's deep.
It's almost like some black ops shit. So basically, we're zooming. We got a damn satellite beaming in on your hands. It's seeing what letters that you're typing because you have an anti-gravity. She came up with something new with anti-gravity. So this can't get out, and they don't want it to get out. They need to know if she's communicating with other countries, trying to sell this. So this shit gets deep, y'all. So let's continue to listen to what she says.
Real quick, one question before you go into it. I mean, what do you think the government is actually? I mean, because this has been going on since about the 1940s and the 50s with this whole UFO and alien thing.
Yes,
why
sir.
do you think all of a sudden, besides the Epstein files, why do you think they're really like trying to release this and kind of putting that out there now? Why do you think
that they're trying to put the Epstein files, or what do you mean?
No. Why they all of a sudden, at the 1940s and 50s with the UFOs and all this alien stuff, they kind of, suppressed it, say about after the 1980s, right? And then now they're going back to it like, let's go back to the 40s and 50s. But we're gonna let everybody know these files now. What make you think the government all of a sudden decided to let this information go? If this is
I think because of Project Bluebeam. I believe that also the Epstein files, because you got to think about all these people in the government that were all involved. Pizzagate into eating children, bro. That's deep. They worship Baal. This is deep. I mean, what we heard about it, but when the distraction was so real because no one in the world could imagine that these people were hunting children and eating children and using their blood for adrenochrome. Again, a fantasy world, but it's true.
But what I'm saying is, why you think they all of a sudden want to let the public know, the general public know, like, okay, here's some UFO and alien files?
I think to cover up, to make us forget about the Epstein files and that it goes away. I think it's just a distraction. I think they're doing it
do they realize by but what they do they realize by doing it they actually kind of exposing it anyway?
Well, that comes and goes. I mean, they have exposed the alien agenda every time, and every time they do it, notice that we go into like a world war. When it comes out, we go back into a war again. Ruby says they putting it out so we can get ready for what's already here. Absolutely.
But do they want us to be ready, or do they not want us to be ready?
Well, you got to remember the alien agenda when they made the whole thing, and Phil Snyder spoke about this for people that know about Phil Snyder. We traded, the aliens want to learn how to survive on our climate. Because the alien that they had, he wore a bodysuit. And that's why they say all these diseases came, because they carry diseases. So when we had the breakout of COVID and all these diseases, some say that there were some aliens that got loose. But that's Negro here or there. And it's out of space to a lot of you people. But the agenda was, we give them bodies and they give us technology. So the missing children, the blood, they get high off of our blood. It was like cocaine. Phil Snyder spoke about this, and he ended up unalived.
Damn. See what I'm saying?
So they need our blood. This is where, the cattle, I know you've seen, a lot of people seen it on farms that they say the UFOs come down and their cows are, all the blood is sucked out of the cows. You guys seen that, right?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Where these cows are cut perfectly precision like a laser on these people's farms, and the blood is totally sucked out of the bodies, and they say the aliens are doing that.
Damn.
I mean, do your research. Okay, Ruby says they what used to be ready. I'm trying to understand that. They want us, let's say, to be ready. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Now let's continue, y'all. Listen to what she's saying, Dr. E, so get a drawing of what she's trying to explain, because it's going to get deeper.
Or through there, and you can get a 3D image of what I'm typing, because this computer doesn't have a Wi-Fi card. You can't hack it.
Doesn't have a Wi-Fi card. Her computer doesn't have a Wi-Fi card, and they can't hack it. So they're zooming in on her hands to see what she's typing. So look,
can maybe get a 3D image of me typing.
So they get a 3D image of her typing to see who she's communicating with. Because righteously, they can't unalive her because they don't really know if it's time. So if she's already communicated with somebody and they have it, so they can't righteously do it, so they happen to see who she's communicating before the unaliving, which did happen to her.
So we just did that and did that as an act of pure desperation. And guess what? I feel better immediately. My hands still burn because there's damage. But it's like my body relaxed when we barricaded.
Her thoughts, her fingers.
Say it again.
I said the aliens can read her thoughts through her fingers.
It's not the aliens, Dr. E. It's not aliens. The government.
But where did they learn that technology from?
Who learned the technology from?
As humans, we can't tell nobody's thoughts by what they typing. If you can't really,
you gotta remember, Dr. E. The aliens are. The government is zooming in on what she's typing, not the aliens.
Right. So they can read. What she's typing by letters. Yeah, but it seems like what you're saying is that they're zooming in to get her thoughts through her fingers. But it's kind of like
no. It's not her thoughts. It's her fingers. What her fingers are typing. What letters? What keys that she's typing.
That's what I was. Okay, that's what I'm trying to make sure that I was
not her mind. Yeah, not her mind. That's why it's strictly on her hands, because they want to know what keys that she's typing, what letters she's typing, and they're deciphering what she's communicating through the keyboard.
I got you. Now I'm caught up.
Roger that. I love it. But see, those are the questions because then sometimes you want to think too. Damn, if they zooming in through the window, move the goddamn computer. move it from by the window then, or is it just even if you have a window they can still do it? I mean, come on, gang.
You know that part.
Let's keep building, y'all.
And it was like, oh, like relief, like immediately, because they're hitting me through the. I'm sitting here typing on this thing.
She sound like Cupcake, don't she, Dr.
Directed energy weapons are about harming and harassing people, but they're also sometimes surveillance mechanisms where you can.
Yeah, you know, Cupcake from
can't hack the computer because there's no Wi-Fi card.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
But you can send microwaves in to get a 3D image of me typing on the keyboard, and you can reconstruct what I'm typing by microwaving me.
Yeah, she sounds just like.
Even though you can't hack it because there's no Wi-Fi card. That's the type of shenanigans going on right now. Like that's the reality of like directed energy tools and weapons.
See, energy weapon.
That's kind of the shit that's going on.
Now watch
Directed energy weapons are not science fiction. The U.S. military has openly developed and discussed systems using concentrated electromagnetic energy, microwave, laser, and radio frequency capable.
That's what that beam was doing when I walked in that room, Dr. E. It was just like that.
What Amy described
was
a weapon. A weapon with specific operational advantage. This weapon produces symptoms like disorientation, burns, paranoia, and fear. Things that make the person reporting them sound unstable.
I started the Institute for one reason. The Institute. I started it as a public-facing persona to disclose anti-gravity technology through, because I told Mark this. If you stick your neck out in public, at least someone notices if your head gets chopped off.
I'd been in touch with Amy Eskridge well before her death, her tragic death, and she was making claims that she'd had a major breakthrough in anti-gravity. Not surprisingly, she was very secretive about that.
Hit the like button.
I'm in no doubt at all,
you guys.
and this is the reason why I think legitimate suspicions are raised.
Amy's work wasn't just anti-gravity in a hand-wavy type sense. A 2018 presentation she gave in Huntsville and her role at the Institute for Exotic Science pointed at something far more specific. A documented lineage of gravity modification research that kept surfacing inside serious institutions, showing results and then going quiet.
Let's get right into it and talk about gravity. Just kind of to start with the basics. What is it basically? It's a fundamental physical force, interacts between different masses over both long and short distances. It controls the orbits of the planets, and those are all things we've heard before. And anti-gravity is basically the science of modifying gravity. So anti-gravity is kind of a misnomer. It's really more gravity modification, but colloquially it's called anti-gravity.
So which means that we wouldn't have to use gasoline. We could fly.
Mm-hmm.
We could literally fly. No fuel will be needed. Less pollution. It's so much you can do when you master anti-gravity. Let's continue.
According to reports, Amy believed that she had developed new foundational research in the area of anti-gravity and was waiting on authorization from.
So, is everybody catching this? Hey, Carl. So, Dr. E. So we know anti-gravity's out there, right? So anti-gravity's out there. So she's not the only one that has mastered anti-gravity, Coral. Ruby, Bob, Nurse 59, Dr. E, chat, everybody in the bush. She's not the first one. But she had something new. So listen to what he said. She had something new that she was about to put out. They want to know what the hell she know. She mastered something else. You following me? You tracking me, Dr. E?
Yeah.
So let's continue. Listen what he says.
According to reports, Amy believed that she had developed new foundational research in the area of anti-gravity and was waiting on authorization from NASA before presenting it publicly.
Uh-oh.
It's been independently discovered 4 other times.
Uh-oh.
He said It has been, he said, it has been suppressed every single fucking time. And he said, I don't think they're going to suppress it this time.
Uh-oh.
He said, I think you're in the clear.
Uh-oh.
He said, they obviously know about you because I've had multiple, both protective and threatening interactions with various agency affiliations, whatever. He was like, if you haven't had a U.S. government agent come to you and say, stop, shut the fuck up, stop, shut the fuck up. If that hasn't happened, they're going to let you do it. They're waiting. There are SSP motherfuckers that are fucking twiddling their thumbs. Like, is Amy not going to publish soon? Gah, we've been influencing this bitch forever. Doesn't she know we want her to publish? Jesus. Like, there's multiple people doing that right now. And on the other side of the fence, there's multiple parties looking at each other like, didn't we tell this bitch 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? What is she doing? She's still doing it? What? We told her we were going to kill her 3 years ago. So I have these two different scenarios floating constantly in my life where I have people being like, do it, do it, do it. You're the one, do it. And then I have multiple people being like, they're going to kill you. Don't do it. They're going to kill you.
On June 11th, 2022, in Huntsville, Alabama, Amy Catherine Eskridge was found dead. She was 34 years old. The official ruling was a suicide. Now, this is where the story is supposed to end. The only public reporting I can find is that she was found dead in Huntsville of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Neither the police nor the medical examiner have released a detailed report with any more information. And according to footage and interviews, she was saying something much darker. Amy believed.
So why not? Why? You see what I'm saying, gang? Why isn't this investigated? Why wasn't it opened up to see what really happened to this person?
Because what as smart as she was,
a gunshot wound, just a gunshot wound.
Why would she kill herself?
Exactly.
Why was she unalive? And correct myself. Why was she unalive herself? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, she wants the truth to be out. She knows she's knowledgeable. She knows she's important to the world. And then all of a sudden, a scientist like that just says, I just don't think the world is ready for me. I'm just going to unalive myself. That just doesn't make logical sense. Somebody has to be pressuring her to even make her feel that way. And then secondly, somebody has to actually be the person that's probably going to do it. Because at the end of the day, a logical person is really just never going to kill themselves. Because they're going to fight the logic. They're going to always have a logical answers like, this is why I'm not going to kill myself. You feel what I'm saying? And that's just coming from an educated person.
That's true.
Even you don't really have a lot of education, it's common sense, right? You just like, I got too much to live for, so I'm not gonna unalive myself because at the end of the day, I got something to live for. Whatever that may be, you'll find something to live for. That's what the common person does.
Absolutely.
So when you hear a genius basically unalize himself, that's not logical.
That's not logical.
That she was being targeted. Now, Amy was a real person with people that loved her. Her death should not be turned into entertainment. Although her family has pushed back against the ideas that her death was suspicious, that does not make the questions go away.
The passing of yet another NASA scientist has resurfaced as the list of chilling disappearances and mysterious deaths of those.
So let's get on. So now, gang, we got 17. We're up 17. We're 16, right? So now we're gonna go up, Dr. E, to 17. So we're gonna stop sharing the screen. We're gonna get through this live. Again, I thank everybody for their patience. We're trying to breeze through this. We're keeping the channel and algorithms, which, you know, I have to move different. We really can run shit up, but I could be talking about this Trump shit, but I'm scared. I don't want to end up like her. I'm a threat. So we're gonna move. So now this is how we gotta move, Dr. E. Band-Aid gang. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Is. I mean,
let's get to it. Hit the like button, double tap. We building.
if you want to push it out and like really get it out there, make sure.
Schaefer. You can find her on YouTube.
Let's go.
And or dead. Space scientist has risen.
She really was already questioning authority at that point.
So unfortunately, that's a problem, and where you have very, very brilliant people who have these kind of, very strange and suspicious circumstances around them.
Between Monica and Ingrid, I'm seeing some similarities that are very chilling.
Tonight, what happened to scientist Aiden Schaefer as yet another scientist has been looped into this? Last name Wilcox. Straight out to special guest joining us, Georgia Bradburn, joining us from the UK, host of Liminality, who has broken the latest on a deceased scientist, Aiden Schaefer. You can find her on YouTube, enter Liminality. Georgia, thank you for being with us. Aiden Schaefer, what did he study?
So Aiden was looking into alternative propulsion. He was involved in spaceports in college. He was studying multiple aspects of ways to get humans into space. And he is believed to have been working on anti-gravity towards the end of his life, unfortunately. But what he was...
There it is. Same scenario, anti-gravity. Someone in the chat said, that makes sense. Ruby said that makes sense. This is why UFOs don't make noise. That's where the technology comes from. Ships move fast in all directions. Correct. But don't forget the element 115, which Bob Lazar, who actually did reverse technology at S5, which is another base other than Area 51. See, I do my research, gang. So, yes. So, let's continue to hear him, hear what he had going. Then we're going to get into what's going on in Iran to open up some more doors on what's really going on and how they try to hide the truth. So, let's continue.
Doing towards the end, unfortunately, we do not know. It's unclear what it was he was working on.
You know, I'm just curious, when you say propulsion, Georgia, are you referring to jet propulsion?
I believe it was field effect propulsion that Aiden was looking into. He wanted to find any sort of alternative that would get humans into space. He was aiming to do that by some sort of clean energy alternative. From what I can gather, he was very much involved in an alternative to jet engines. He wanted us to get there. And he was involved in space elevators as well. He was doing that for 5 years. So his research and development was all geared towards humans in space and looking for alternative ways to get us there.
Aiden Schaefer, born, raised New Mexico popping up again.
There it is, New Mexico.
Science, space, technology in a field known as field effect propulsion. Field effect propulsion. Straight out to Chris Swecker, special guest joining us tonight, former assistant FBI director in the Criminal Investigation Unit. Chris Swecker, thank you for being with us. What is field effect propulsion?
Well, I focus on the word propulsion. When you talk about jet propulsion or any kind of propulsion, you're talking about moving heavy objects long distances through space. So it's a dual use technology. You can use it for, say, space exploration, launching satellites, or you can use it for missiles. And it's deliver a weapon of mass destruction a long distance from one site to another. So that's what makes it interesting to our adversaries. More than interesting, I would say. They would love to get their hands on that technology, given the conflicts in the world today.
My understanding, and of course, Chris Swecker, I'm just a trial lawyer, field effect propulsion is an incredibly advanced aerospace spacecraft propulsion. It's a concept, as you said, that thrusts the object, that would be an aircraft, through interactions with electromagnetic or space fields, rather than expelling a chemical propellant such as rocket fuel. So that's my understanding of field effect propulsion. And in a lay term, this is the way I understand it as just a simple trial lawyer, field effect propulsion, instead of using any fuel, you heard Georgia Bradburn say he was looking for a clean energy. It uses what is around it somehow and turns that into a source of propulsion, field effect propulsion. And I had lumped it all together in jet propulsion. This uses electromagnetic power, and it's truly beyond anything I've ever imagined. To Georgia Bradburn, I don't understand how another space scientist, a U.S. space scientist, working on something beyond anything I've ever even imagined, Georgia, dies while being in custody for interrogation to be questioned on an offense. He just has a heart attack and dies while in law enforcement custody.
Well, that is what we're being told so far. It's unclear. We are told at this point that it was from a heart attack, but we're yet to get any clear documentation as to whether or not that truly was what happened. But Aiden had his issues with that authority in his area.
Hit the like button if you are loving the content that you are getting tonight. We are building. Let's go, y'all. Now let's listen to this clip right here. Anti-gravity. Let's see what's going on behind the scenes and why, if we're all one, why are these guys fighting on the other side? See, it's all about to come out. Hit the like button. Doctor, you with me?
Yep, I'm here. I'm here.
Let's go, gang. Hit the like button.
How do you think you were treated when you reported this information or talked about, you know, the Tic Tac video is well out there. It's well reported. How were you treated?
I've had no pushback at all. I haven't had anyone reach out to me or try to, you know, dissuade me in either direction, militarily speaking. So I was treated fair, and I appreciate the Navy itself with assisting me with coming here to being able to testify.
That's good. So what do you think the American people should take away from watching your video, right? Because when we watch it, obviously, right, we've never seen anything like that. It defies what we know to be technologically possible. What are we supposed to think? Someone's lying about something. Someone's hiding something, right? That's not normal what you looked at.
I think what the American people should think when seeing that video, along with others before me, is that there is something out there, and we should know as the people what it is.
Right. And so let's eliminate possibilities. So they didn't come to you and say there was a technological error with what you were looking at. So we put that aside, right? They didn't say it was broken. So we look at that and we see something. So it's either a weapons program being reverse engineered by our governments or other governments, or it's nobody's government, and it's not from here. Those are it. You agree with that assessment?
I agree. One or the other.
Mr. Borland, when you first experienced what you were looking at, what did you do next? Like, what was your next step after it had passed and you were done?
I actually kind of laughed to myself and said, okay, so this exists as well. Worked in enough programs, been exposed to enough that I was like, okay, so this is a real thing. I went back, walked the track, talked with a couple of my friends about it. I did talk with some of my coworkers, one in particular, which I thought was a joke, and it definitely wasn't, was like, you probably should never say this to anybody. And then what happened to me happened. So.
See? Secret
society.
There you go.
Your last name?
Nusatelli.
Nusatelli. And sorry, I know I'm running out of time, Madam Chairwoman. So obviously
you're telling me about
well before we can record things on.
So we can go on and on. We can go on and on with this, y'all. This is what's going on. Let me and Dr. E take y'all there. Open your minds. A lot of us, Dr. E can elaborate. We're going to get into our studies on Sundays as I work to get us to where we need to be. A lot of us, before internet came, before a lot of people started having information, a lot of people had this information, correct, Dr. E? About the Anunnakis, the Nephilims, the Book of Enoch. And a lot of people don't know where that goes, right? A lot of you guys don't know the meaning about it. A lot of you guys never even knew who the Anunnakis were. And this is going to break it down. This person's channel that we're watching now, they had took his channel because he was putting out the truth, the information. So let's continue. Dr. E, you ready?
Yeah, I'm going to say one more thing that piggyback what you just said.
Yeah, I was waiting on you. I knew I couldn't do it alone.
They've been waiting.
You leave me out here with my drawers off.
They've been waiting for the last 60 years, 70 years, for whatever reason, like we was just talking about. They like put this information in science fiction, right? Just going to say how they kind of did and how they brainwashed us to a certain point. They put it in science fiction where they like everything that you read about Star Wars and aliens and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of make-believe stuff and it's over here. So we didn't grow up with that in our life. Like that's not really real stuff. And now we kind of being exposed to it. Like, look what we just found, some FBI files, UFO files, whatever. And they put them out here. Well, we automatically in our mind, if you're about at least 40 years old, 50 years old and up, you put that in the UFO category, meaning that it's not real science fiction. So when you're exposing us to this now, it's kind of like we really, half of us don't believe it because we've been trained not to believe it.
To believe it. Absolutely. Keep going. Preach on, brother.
Okay. And then now we have, like I said, this new generation. They didn't grow up with computers and Sims and all this kind of stuff from video games, robots, whatever they call it. My daughter's into whatever. They have grown up with animated stuff. So everything to them is real that's AI and animated. So when you tell them about UFOs, it fits. They're going to believe it before we believe it. You see what I'm saying? And so now you got a contradiction right there. You got two different generations in technology and understanding of science and all this other stuff, because we got a slight thing that this is make-believe and they got a thing that this is real life. If they even listening to it, because in the new generation too, they're 50-50 where half of them don't even listen to anything. They just want to get high. So you tell them something, no telling where that's going to go. You feel what I'm saying? Where you got the other ones that's analyzing everything, they're going to tell you the truth if they know this is to be the truth. And then for us, we're kind of stuck like we can't tell the truth from the fiction because we've been growing up that this is science fiction stuff and we can't really believe all of it. And now the government wants to let us know all this. Like I said, and for us, it goes into, part B. This must be a distraction because why are they all of a sudden letting us know all this technology?
Exactly. Shouts out to all my people with insomnia. We appreciate you for joining us tonight.
That part.
Shouts out to all the people with insomnia. You can't sleep. The gummies aren't working. The CBD is not working. Thank you for joining us tonight. So let's go, y'all.
But scattered across Iran are ruins that raise strange questions. Massive platforms, terraced temples, and structures resembling the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, stepped monuments built as bridges between heaven and earth. One of them still stands today. Choga Zanbil, built over 3,000 years ago. It rises from the desert like a staircase to the
like
sky.
button, y'all, if y'all liking what y'all seeing tonight.
To ancient civilizations,
y'all.
places like this were not just temples. They were gateways. Points where the divine touched the world of men. Ancient epics tell of heroes traveling into these mountains to reach the gate of the rising sun. Guardians waited there. Terrifying beings said to stand watch over a passage used by the gods themselves. A passage that led beyond the human world. Persian tradition preserved its own strange memories of the sky. Stories of luminous forces racing across the heavens. Divine glory descending upon chosen rulers as a moving light. Heavenly chariots carrying celestial warriors through cosmic battles above the earth. Some legends speak of kings attempting to ascend into the sky using flying devices. Others describe ordinary people awakened at night, unable to move, standing in the presence of silent beings made of light, taken, returned, changed. Experiences interpreted as spiritual encounters in the ancient world, but unsettlingly similar to reports still told today. In Mesopotamian texts, the gods were said to descend from the heavens and return the same way they came, which raises a question. If the Anunnaki truly moved between worlds, where were the gates? Most theories point west, to Sumer, to Babylon, to the great ziggurats of Iraq. But what if one of the most important gateways lay further east, hidden in the mountains, buried beneath forgotten ruins, in a land that once connected Mesopotamia to the rest of the ancient world? Tonight, we explore a possibility rarely discussed. A place where ancient empires, sacred mountains, and mysterious ruins converge. A place some researchers believe may have been one of the most important access points on Earth. Iran, the Eastern Gate.
Hit the like button, y'all. We gonna stop and we gonna do some commentary in between this, because it's gonna be a key part, y'all.
In the first pages of Genesis,
now listen, y'all.
Adam and Eve, the first humans, already cast out of the Garden of Eden. Their exile, the beginning of life outside paradise, a life of labor, mortality, and the long struggle of human civilization. After their expulsion, they had two sons, Cain, the firstborn, and Abel, the younger brother. Cain became
Adam and Eve, right, Dr. E? Now we're going to break it down. Adam and Eve had who, Dr. E? Cain
and Abel.
And Abel. Hit the like button. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all know this story. Now we gonna get a little deep. Put a 1 in the chat so we know that y'all tracking with us. So they had Cain and Abel, and we know they didn't look like this, gang. We know they didn't look like this. They had nappy hair. Okay. So remember, Cain and Abel, 2 boys. Thank you. So now listen to this, gang. This is what they don't want us to know. The truth.
Became a farmer, working the soil. Abel became a shepherd, tending flocks. In time, both brothers brought offerings to God. Abel offered the best of his flock, while Cain brought produce from his fields.
So, can I ask anybody a question, Band-Aid gang? And I'm not trying to... Listen to this. So, you read in the Bible, right? Dr. E, right?
Right.
So, now listen to what you read in the Bible. But listen to this, Angel. Cain is doing all this crop sharing for who? It's only him, his mom, his dad, and his brother. Pay attention. Right, Dr. E?
Right, but you got to include God. He was doing this to God, too.
And God, too. But listen, y'all.
In time, both brothers brought offerings to God.
They brought the offering.
Abel offered the best of his flock, while Cain brought produce from his fields. The biblical narrative tells us that God favored Abel's offering, but rejected Cain's. The reason for this preference has been debated for centuries. Some interpret it as a matter of sincerity. Others see it as symbolic. The shepherd offering the life of an animal versus the farmer offering crops from the earth. Whatever the reason, the result was the same. Cain's jealousy began to grow. God warned him directly. Sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it.
Hey,
but Cain did not master it. Instead, he invited Abel into the field.
Now I gotta add this. This is something I always kind of wondered about too. God is not a physical being, right? So this, yeah, y'all hold on with me now, because I'm ready to go there. This is things I used to ask in Sunday school and get passed over. Now, God is not physical, so he can't eat any vegetables. He can't eat any meat. So why are they offering things to him that they know at that point, even then, that he cannot take them? I just have to say that. I just have to say that and let you go continue on. But this is something I used to get. That kid, 4 or 5 years old in Sunday school, with my hand up, like, wait a minute, hold on, excuse me, Sunday school teacher.
Yes, why was it a sacrifice? Why was it blood? It goes back to what? They sucking blood. The aliens wanted blood.
Let's see. Okay, well.
An offering. No, but just listen, y'all. It's going to get deep.
There, away from witnesses, Cain killed his brother. The first murder in human history had taken place. After the murder, God confronted Cain. "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain responded with the now famous line, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?"
Wait, one more stop.
Could not be hidden.
One more stop. One more stop. I gotta ask this one. That's another thing too. We always was told God is an all-seeing God. He sees everything, whether you sleeping, wake, or whatever. So why would he ask him? Like, it's kind of like a sarcasm, remark when they say that. God asked, "Hey, where's your brother at?" Like he didn't know, but God knows everything. So he already knew, but he just wanted to see what he say. Kind of like a parent does, like, who ate that cookie? And you made some cookies, and one of the kids ate them damn cookies. But you just say, who ate the cookies? I don't know. But one of the damn kids, and ain't nobody else in the house ate the damn cookie. You feel what I'm saying? That's kind of how God asked him, "Where's your brother at?" Okay, I'm not gonna keep interrupting, but these are things. Please do, because. But this is what I used to ask in Sunday school. You know what I'm saying? I used to ask these questions. I'm pretty sure maybe some others had these thoughts that they didn't ask the question. I used to be kind of like stopping the whole damn thing, but like, I got a question. Like I was in regular school because I wanted to know. I mean, this is why I guess call me Dr. E, because these are the things I always inquire about. I always question and I put out here. So this is the same thing. A lot of us have these thoughts, whether you're a doctor or not. You have these thoughts like, wait a minute, that don't make no sense.
And I love your comment text, and this is what we're all here for. We're going to start doing this all the time. I'm going to start switching my content because it's good. Now, text says God is not asking because he doesn't know the answer. God is asking for Cain's sake for him to have an opportunity to confess and repent. I agree.
There you go. That's my point. But they don't really kind of teach you that in Sunday school. You feel what I'm saying? They don't really teach you that. They just tell you what the sin was. That's why I brought that up. But I'll let you rock up.
Okay, so let's continue.
According to the text, Abel's blood cried out to the ground itself. Cain was then cursed with exile. The earth, which had once produced crops for him, would no longer yield its strength. He would become a fugitive and a wanderer upon the earth. Cain feared this fate deeply. He worried that anyone who encountered him would seek revenge. God placed a mysterious mark upon Cain, a sign meant to protect him from being killed. Then came the defining moment in the narrative.
Know who that is?
So
Cain. Anybody know who that is right there?
I didn't want to say anything on that part, but yeah, I mean, if he marched him so other people wouldn't kill him, who the other people? Because it only supposed to be Cain, Abel, and his mom and dad, which is Adam and Eve. So what other people? Well, once again, it's time for Sunday school to end. We'll see y'all next Sunday.
No, but I mean this person on the picture. Does anybody know who this is?
Not exactly.
That's
I know
James
you got a wide
Evans.
I know you got a wide nose.
That's James Evans. See, this is how you knew he was black. See, that's James Evans' nose off good. That's James Evans. That's the daddy off Good Time. Them people. Don't that look just like James Evans, y'all? Put a one in the chat that don't look like James Evans.
And nose, oh yes indeed.
Oh, that's James Evans, y'all. Dynamite. That's Dynamite Daddy. Hit the like button. Let's go. Let's continue.
Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden.
So he went to,
with that single sentence.
He went to the land of Nod.
So that means other people on the planet. Wait a minute. Go back.
It had a name.
But go back and rewind for a second. It only supposed to be Cain and Abel. Right. Where did the people of Nod come from? We missed the whole thing. So what's that telling you off the top? If you really pay attention, it's some chapters missing. I'll leave it right there.
Exactly. Because it did say, let us make man in our own image. Who wrote that, Cain?
Who's ours?
That come from the Europeans or Rome?
I was told on that part, just to kind of clear that up, I was told by that part, he was speaking to the people that was already in heaven, such as the angels. But then, you feel what I'm saying? It's kind of like, wait a minute. But that's what it was really talking about. It's supposed to be like the angels, like, let's make God in our own image, But then, men in our own image. But at the same time, who was he talking to? He supposed to be talking to Jesus, who was not born yet, but Jesus is supposed to be that third Trinity thing. And then you got, he was talking to, I guess, even the devil at that time, because the devil at that time was in heaven, in the fallen angels.
And anybody in here, right, Dr. E, and I want to read this, and I don't want to mislead nobody or look like I am challenging the Bible, because I was always taught, and always remember that good book said, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall open. You seek the knowledge, you get it, and that's how you put it together to know where you're going. If you just, some other people's ways just can't get you into heaven. You're not going to understand it until you seek and find it for yourself. Just like people have to read a book more than once to really get an understanding. And that's what we're doing here. I know that there's a Most High. Some people think, okay, if we sit up here and say, listen, y'all, I'm a true believer in the Most High.
Right. I'm not saying it's not a Most High, but that doesn't take away, because I'm just saying, going back to what I just said again about being that kid in Sunday school, it doesn't take away that you have common sense and you start to understand reading and writing and stuff like that at that point. And when you go to Sunday school, they tell you things that don't really make sense logically to you as you read, because when you read a book, you pretty much already start to learn to read from front to back. But the Bible is not written from front to back. I'm not saying I'm going to challenge anybody, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people have tried to read the Bible from the beginning to the end, and it's not easy read like you read a regular book. Why is that? Because it doesn't fit together, because it's like a puzzle. Why is that again? Because it's pieces missing that they don't tell you about.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's like they don't want us to know the truth. And that's what they're doing today. In our government, they do not want us to know the truth. Okay, and here's another reason why they don't want us to know the truth.
Even our history class in the United States, I got to say this and piggyback what you're saying again. Even in our history classes now we finding out the truth. We asking questions about this, and that, about slavery, this, and that before slavery, and all this stuff, and what they're trying to take away from history. They don't want to show you the contributions of the black culture in America or before. Why? Because that would make the power that be and has been in place, it would make them less than.
Can you hear me? All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
You can hear me?
Clearly.
Okay, my internet act like it wanted to go off for a minute. See how we starting to spit and they try to do that? So now I'm gonna read this. Adam and Eve, okay, was of the spirit at the beginning. This one right here. Right. Who is anyone? If Cain and Abel were the first children, two men can't have an offspring. Facts. Can you answer that one for us, Tex? No shade. Just how do you figure that one out? Adam and Eve had other children after Cain and Abel. Okay? So they had other children. So that means there was someone else, right? The Bible doesn't specify all their names. People lived for hundreds of years. Over that time, Cain would have married his sister.
Yeah, but we're led to believe all that. It doesn't state that in writing.
Bingo.
This is what the preachers and the people tell you to fill in that blank when you ask the questions. That's why I said I was that kid in Sunday school asking questions. They're gonna come with this narrative and tell you that this and that and this and that. But why it doesn't say that?
So because if they had multiple children, Dr. E, that means that they was having sex with different women, not being married, right?
Well, that didn't matter at that time because, that's way before that time. You didn't have to be. The whole point of Adam and Eve was to populate the earth as many children as possible. So it wasn't no such thing at that time as incest. But it was two boys that were born, not female and male. So going back to that again, when Cain is saying that, how can I go into the world and people are going to know that I'm a killer, I'm this and that and whatever? How would they know that when there was no other people supposed to be in there but them, those two? See, that is a missing link in there that says there were other people here. They lived in the land of what he said, Nob, right? So how were they all other people in the land of Nob, and who were they? Why we missed the whole part when God created them? But Sunday school is over. We're seeing that Sunday.
And what race were they?
Don't really matter about race or nationality. The point is that they were living among human beings on the earth, living and breathing. Because remember, you got to remember now, just going back to the last little piece, Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. Now, when you first hear this, you think they were on some other planet. But as we have learned through time and research and everything else, the land of the Garden of Eden is here on earth. They were placed here on earth. Only thing that happened is that garden was forbidden after they sinned, that you couldn't go back to it. So it has been believed that it possibly was Africa, because the oldest bones they found were in Africa, what they call the Egelings and all the things. It was in Africa. So we look at all the animals are on the earth. It's Africa. Where's all the deepest jungles in the earth? It's Africa. So at the end of the day, if we just say it all started in Africa and some part of the jungle that we don't go to anymore because we're forbidden to go there, or we're scared to go there now because, snakes, barriers, whatever it may be physically, we're not going back to the Garden of Eden anymore. It's overgrown, like a garden that's overgrown. So we moved to different parts of the earth now. So that's what men has come to the concept to believe. If we did, if we was placed here on the earth and Adam and Eve were placed in Africa, and this is where it all started and began. Once they got banned from the Garden of Eden, they couldn't return to that part of Africa. Just break it down like that. But they had two sons going forward. So they had two sons. Two sons can't produce with each other. And one killed the other one. So it wasn't no gay stuff popping off, or whatever. It wasn't none of that popping off because he was already scared of some other people over there on the other side in the land of Nob. And how was he scared of those people? Where do people come from? We missed that in the Bible. But why was that not important to put in there? Because we're supposed to be starting from the beginning and working our way down to the end in Revelation. So if we started from the beginning, it's chapters missing from the very beginning of Genesis. That's all I'm saying. And when I used to be that kid in Sunday school at 5 years old, with my hand up like, that don't sound right. You missing something. What are you talking about? Well, where them other people come from? No, I'm speaking as a 5-year-old. I just got common sense. Y'all said it was only 2 people, and now y'all saying there's some other people over here. Where them other people come from? Because nobody, and then here in black and white to say anything about them. See you next Sunday in Sunday school. Put $5 in the offering for King.
Definitely Africa. The Fertile Crescent is between the Tigris and the Euphrates. Those rivers lie in Iraq and Iran. So now we're talking about the Stargate. Because we know, remember the movie Stargate? And how they, all that stuff is true, y'all.
That was
That's
a show
why we
too.
went to war with Iraq. Because they had the Stargate. Let's continue.
Yeah, I don't think it's over no oil. I really don't.
No, it's over the Stargate and the ancient artifacts and all of those certain things that we're hearing that Hillary Clinton and all of these collections that they were getting all these different artifacts that had special powers.
Yeah, that's what I believe. Even Hitler too.
Hitler had them too, and Hitler knew the secrets, and that's one of the reasons that Hitler had. I hate to use the word hate, but he hated the Jews because he knew something that those were not the original Jews.
That part.
Hitler knew, and it was bad that he did what he did. But he knew those were not the original Jews, that they were out of the land of Canaan, right? Which goes back to sacrificing children.
Yep.
So he had ancient scrolls and certain things that he knew the truth, because when you're president and you have that type of power to get these ancient artifacts, a lot of them were stolen from Africa during the Shaka Zulu times.
Yep.
And they were taken to what? To Britain.
And even Donald Trump knows this. That's why he acting the fool up in office. Because once they find out this knowledge and information, they feel some kind of way.
Because the land of Canaan was where Baal came from, right? Sacrificing children.
And once again, why are we sacrificing physical things to a spiritual God?
And this is why part of the reason why we're in war, right? Because what were the Iranian people doing? They were burning Baal. They were burning the statue of Baal. And all of a sudden, America goes and attacks them. And then the niece of, everybody knows, Jeffrey Epstein's niece, we did our research on that. Y'all remember that Band-Aid gang? She said that they were from the family of Baal, right? They worshipped Baal. Remember that, Dr. E?
Yeah, a little something. Yeah.
Epstein's niece said they worshipped Baal.
Yeah, I remember.
Which was sacrificing children. Blood sacrifices. See, these people know stuff that we don't know. K Dizzle says the Stargate and all the original scrolls with the original knowledge. Same thing Dr. E was saying. I agree. Let's go, y'all.
Land of Nod, east of Eden. With that single sentence, the Bible introduces one of its most mysterious locations. The story of Cain raises a question that readers have been asking for thousands of years. Who was Cain afraid of? After murdering Abel, Cain tells God,
Dr. E, did you not just say that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was asking that at 5 years old in Sunday school.
Who was he afraid of?
See you next Sunday.
So Cain is going off, and he's afraid of something. Let's continue to track.
Put $5 in the plate.
whoever finds me will kill me. But at this point in Genesis, the Bible has only introduced 4 people: Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel.
Exactly.
Abel is dead.
How you know
So who exactly was Cain worried about? The text becomes even stranger when Cain arrives in the land of Nod. Genesis tells us he takes a wife, begins a family, and eventually builds a city. Cities do not exist with 3 people. These details have puzzled scholars.
Cities don't exist with 3 people.
Where did the wife come from? I'll wait. Where did the wife come from?
I asked the chat.
That boy know too much to be 5 years old. He know too much. They're gonna call him Dr. E one day. That boy right there, I tell you, can't even have a class with this boy.
So he was scared. What was he scared of?
And where did he get the wife from? I'm just asking. He had a brother. He killed his brother. It was no homo, no stuff popping off back then. So and two homos can't have kids. So where did the wife come from?
But where did he have so much hate and know how to kill?
We see y'all next Sunday.
I'm just saying. What made him want to kill?
That's what I was told all the time, because they don't have an answer for my questions that we bringing up right now. Where did the wife come from? See how we going around it right now? That's the same thing the preacher did. That's the same thing the Sunday school teacher did. You're not answering the question. Where your parents at? This boy right here, he gonna be something else.
Crow, you're right. But let me say this, y'all. Let's not get confused. I wanted to say this earlier, but Dr. E, we got the rocket show. We know there's aliens, right? Just because aliens exist, y'all, and this is going for the Bible thumpers. And ain't nothing wrong with thumping the Bible. I love Bible thumping. I love anybody that got a spiritual base.
But they thumping it. I still want to know the question. Where did his wife come from? Then y'all can thump all you want.
But here's the thing, before I forget, Dr. E. Everybody in the chat, the 16 people in here.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm a true believer in the Most High. But here's the thing I want to always say to the people that, there's no aliens and nothing. God, the Most High made aliens too. Even if the alien popped down and landed in front of my truck tomorrow, that wouldn't make me doubt the Most High.
But I got to add on to what you're saying now while we on the same page.
All right, go ahead and add on to it.
But if he did create them, why did he feel that it was important to talk about them in the regular King James Bible that we know today? Because from what we understand now, somebody took it out. He did put it in there. Who took it out?
To find that out. They're about, you moving too fast, Dr. They about to find that out.
Well, I'm just saying, because if you just going off what we talking about, we obviously see together right there in that little beginning what we did, there is something missing, because it doesn't explain how Cain got a wife, and it doesn't explain why he was worried about other people getting ready to kill him if they see who and know who he is. How would they kill you? It ain't other people. I'm just saying. But if it's other people, then why we don't read, we don't understand nothing about the other people? Why did God not feel it was important not to know who these other people were? And why we don't know where Cain's wife came from?
And why? Ask yourself this. I love this shit, Dr. E. Why have they been having all this alien technology and all this stuff about aliens, and they want to bring it out to us now? What gives you the right to hide that shit for so many years?
That's my point.
Why can't we know the truth?
They held it for about 70 years. We talking about 1940s from when I remember.
40s. And y'all, we just don't want to give it to them yet. Why?
Because all this came after World War II. Now, during that time, we'll say one more thing for those people to research. During that time of World War II, part of the reason that Hitler was acting a fool and making racial things and biases about people, because he found out a lot of information during that time. That's what was said. He found out a lot of information. He found out a lot of things for the 1940 year to be that he was like blown away with. And then you got to remember, Germany was the first people to build the interstates and highways that we have today in the United States.
The Autobahn.
Right. We didn't have those kind of roads that we call freeways and interstates now. Germany did. Why? Because Germany was the hit of the game. Why? Because Hitler was reading to them texts and then biblical things that we talked
Yes.
about. He was already aware of what he needed to do to be ahead of the game, even though he slipped on one thing, that was atomic bomb. But where did the person who invented the atomic bomb come from? Einstein or whatever? Not Einstein, but
His name
Einstein.
was Von Braun.
But where did he come from? He came from Germany. He was a German scientist, right? So the Germany had information that the rest of the world did not have. And the United States tapped into that, paid the guy, brought him in here, welcomed him to the United States, and used that same technology against those other people who were prosecuting him. Because why? Because he was from Germany, but he was Jewish. Let's not forget that part of it. Albert Einstein and the creator of the atomic bomb basically was from Jewish religion. He was from Jewish origins and nationality, but he lived and he was a German too. So when he left Germany and came to the United States embraced him, because not only was he a great scientist, he knew how to create this bomb. And they wasn't really giving him love over there because he was a Jew. So long story short, they was prosecuting the Jews. He came to the United States, he made this bomb, and at the 2 drops, when they dropped it on Japan, they said, you know what, we surrender. Y'all got us. Fuck that. I just leave it right there. It's all right there in history. I ain't telling y'all that ain't true.
That part. In the vast universe, what makes us so special that we are the only advanced life form? Said by K Dizzle. Let's continue, y'all.
Theologians and historians for centuries. Traditional interpretations usually try to solve the problem by suggesting that Adam and Eve had many unnamed children who spread across the world. But the story itself never actually says this. Instead, Genesis quietly suggests something much more mysterious. There were already other people living outside Eden.
Ask yourself this question, Band-Aid gang. Did Adam and Eve have a belly button? I'll wait. Do that make sense, Dr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did they have a belly button? Because we got a belly button because we come out our mom, right? So did Adam and Eve have a belly button?
Oh, okay, yeah. Note, that's a good question. Well, I mean, we'll never know that answer though because we wasn't here to see. But yeah, that would make perfect sense. Belly buttons come from what? You're supposed to be connected to your mother, right? Right. So every human that comes to Earth after Eve would have a belly button, but Eve and Adam, I guess technically would not. But how will we ever know that one? You got me on that one. Good question. Who brought this boy to Sunday school class?
I think deep, y'all. I mean, that's why it's must. And we got plenty of these videos, y'all, and we gonna build.
I got in Sunday school because see, that's kind of kid I was. When that question was right there, now I didn't ever ask that one, but me and you would have been sitting together. They would have like, look, y'all banned from Sunday school. Damn, why?
Right.
Y'all too much. What we do? He asked, was it a belly button on Adam and Eve? I mean, was it? Oh, get out.
Let's go, y'all.
To understand why this possibility exists, we have to look closely at the structure of Genesis itself. The Bible actually contains 2 separate creation narratives. Genesis 1. In the first chapter of Genesis, God creates humanity all at once. So God created mankind in his own image. Male and female, he created them. In this version of the story, humanity is created collectively. Men and women appear together. Humans are commanded to fill the earth. There is no Adam. There is no Eve. Humanity simply appears.
Are you going to talk about the actors, right? The color?
No. I'm looking at the chat right now. And I'm going back. Let me go back to the chat real quick. Because we got somebody's kind of doing, like I said, like the preacher used to do, and I get it, but at the same time, it doesn't justify it 100%. So I got to bring it up so we can talk about it real quick. There was something about let's see, let me go back. Where is it at? People, okay, is Ruby Joy, C1216. She said people were here on the earth when Adam and Eve came out of the garden. Now, can she elaborate and explain that a little bit? Because that's something I would ask my Sunday school teacher. I'm not understanding. If it was only Adam and Eve that had 2 children, how was it other children outside of the garden? In fact, nobody would live outside the garden until they got banned out of the garden.
But so I believe that Ruby, maybe you're reading it wrong. I think that Ruby is saying exactly the same thing you're saying, in the sense that we're all saying that there were already people that were populating the planet.
Well, I'm asking, how did that come to be, though? I want her to explain that. Because this is what I'm asking. Because if it was already people here, that's what the same thing the preacher or Sunday school teacher would say. How is that possible when it's only supposed to be Adam and Eve and their 2 sons, and one killed the other, and then the other one goes outside the garden? Wait a minute. But one goes outside of the garden, and it wasn't supposed to be no people there. He only created Adam and Eve and their 2 sons.
I can answer that.
Go ahead.
That's what they wanted us to believe, and nobody really knew about the Anunnakis or the Sumerians.
Well, that's what I'm saying right there. What you just said right there.
Nobody ever knew about that.
That would mean
that.
But according to God, He put everything in the Bible. So if He put everything in the Bible, that right there is for the people who can't read and understand what they're reading, that we're missing a fact and a part of a whole chapter is not here. Because where did them other people come from? God is telling you everything in these books and inspired people and yada, yada, yada. So if He was doing that in chronological order, as we say it now, then why did He get to the point and skip where He went out into the garden and there was other people already there? Well, hold up. We missed all them other people being created. Nobody said nothing. We just go along with the narrative that He went out, and we keep moving on with the Bible. How do you move on when you just like, that's a stop sign right there? How is it other people outside of the garden? Let's stop right there. Nobody wants to stop. We just keep on going, telling the story.
What's your reason? What do you think? Let me ask you that.
I just told you. They took the parts of the Bible out that tell it. Because God is telling you everything in chronological order. Why would He take that out?
Are they trying to hide what race? Do you think that because they don't want people to believe that black man was actually the first man?
It really ain't got nothing to do with black and white at that point. It's just human beings were not told that the basically, if you want to call them what we call them now, the angels, which would be the fallen angels, which would be the other people, the Anunnaki, like we talking about, whatever name they were already in existence and living on Earth with us. Only thing that was different.
So they're still here then, right?
Well, what I'm saying is, our people, the human beings, were in the garden until they sinned. The other people were roaming around. That's why Satan was able to come into the garden, because he was already down here on Earth. How else was he able to get to Eve and convince her and talk to her and get in her ear and say, go ahead and bite the fruit? Because he was already down here. Because y'all remember, they got cast out of, when you start going back and that part of the thing, when they talk about how the devil got cast out of heaven and him and the fallen angels fell out of heaven, where did they go? They left heaven, which is supposed to be the spiritual realm, and they came down. He threw them out of heaven, because heaven is not on earth. He threw them out of heaven, and he threw them basically in the universe. And when they came down here to the universe, they landed on earth. They were already here.
And they made love with the earthly women, so that means that they were already here, and that's where the Nephilims came from. That's where the giants came from.
There you go. So all that makes sense when you start putting that in perspective. But you leave out that little part about Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel, and then Cain goes out there and he's like, I'm going to go out there and people are going to get me and stuff. How did that come about when you talk about other people? So he already knew when I go outside the garden, he already knew it was like going into the ghetto, if you want to call it that. I'm up here in Beverly Hills. You want me to go out there to the hood of South Central and watch? And it's going to be on and popping when I get out there. They're going to know who I am. I got the wrong shit on. I'm just saying, excuse me. You got the wrong stuff on. They know I'm a marked man. So I ain't going out there like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what he told God, basically, in layman terms, in today's terms from me being a Cali dude. You want me to go out there in the hood, in the ghetto? Nah, I ain't going out there. Nah.
Israel says even their theory of Adam and Eve having other children is not mathing. Take 9 months to stay to full term.
There you go.
2 times, 1 man, 1 woman. Then take another 13 years for those 2 bare children.
And we're assuming too that Adam and Eve, when they had the altercation they had, they were grown men. So we're just gonna say they was like 21 years old. You know, using a legal term in age. They were both 21, giving fruits and vegetables, and the other one's giving lambs and pork chops. I'm just saying. So at the end of the day, they had no women until they was 21 years old. And then they decided to kill each other, or one decides to kill the other one, should I say. And then he goes out there talking about, oh, don't send me out there to the hood, because they're going to know I'm a marked man because I killed my brother. How did they know who you are? And what other people you talking about? Because it ain't nobody but you and him. You killed your only brother. But now we understanding they was in the Garden of Eden, and these other people was outside the Garden of Eden. Well, who are them other people? Now we use our common sense like me and you doing right now.
So they could have been a whole nother different form of people as well, too. If they came out of Garden of Eden, that could be a whole different type of entity. You see what I'm saying?
They had to be the fallen angels, who are we coming up to now?
There you go.
And so the fallen angels, what we call them now, based on the scientific part of it, they were Anunnakis. So the Anunnakis were already out there, and the devil is one of them. And then he came over there. What's God doing? And then he came into the Garden of Eden because he can shape shift and do all this other stuff that regular humans can't do. He turned himself into a serpent at that time too. Serpents had feet, we understand. We already learned that in Sunday school too. Serpents used to walk around and talk. Kind of like the monkey, the parrot, and raven. They're the closest thing that they can talk. Why is that too? That's another thing, but I know.
Now here's another theory. Here's another theory. Here's another theory. Just another theory. Now I've heard this theory. Now this is a theory that I've heard, okay? Everybody open your mind to this. Now, when you look at Ashwakwezi studies, right? When you see, remember when it said we would once we bit from the forbidden fruit, right? That we would know that we're naked and we'll start putting on clothes. Remember that, right?
Yep. Our eyes will be open, like we're talking now.
So put them back in the Garden of Eden, right? Put them in the Garden of Eden. Now they say the scrolls that were written, and us saying this is that when you look at the Egyptian text, it reads that there were going to be someone, and it's in the Sumerian text, which is connected to the Anunnaki, that destroyed their planet. And they came down here. Now you got a lot of people that say, I've heard this, no color shade or nothing got to do with color because it's a spirit and we're just in a bodysuit. And it said that it was melanated people on this planet. And the other race came down here on spaceships. And they were warning us, when you read that part when it says do not bite the forbidden fruit, when the serpent was another human. And when we bit that forbidden fruit,
they wasn't human now.
everything
In the
changed.
Bible, the Bible said he was a serpent, and we interpretate serpents to be on this earth now as snakes.
Right.
Animal.
A reptile.
Not a person.
A reptile.
But he has feet.
He could have been a reptilian.
But he had feet though. He walked around.
Exactly,
He talked.
a reptilian. Yeah, but reptilians, we know now when they're talking in these days that reptilians have feet. They walk amongst us, but they got, just like you seen that man earlier that we watched today, he had a mask on.
But they also have forked tongues, right? Meaning that they hiss and they speak in a language where they can be convincing. They can lure you in at the same time. They're deceitful. That's what a snake pretty much is in literally what we consider snakes, snake people. They lure you in, they talk the good talk, they say the things you like to hear, and they turn around and stab you in the back. Right? Remember, we kind of mentioned guys that are out there that are snakes. You got what I'm saying, C-Dub? We mentioned guys that are snakes.
I'm tracking.
So those guys speak with forked tongues. They say what the female likes to hear, and then before you know it, they stabbing her in the back, or they stabbing her, literally. So what I'm saying is, going back to what the serpent supposed to be, which is supposed to be, the devil. The devil was able to get to Eve because he had the right game. He had the right spit of knowledge to be like, let me get in your ear and talk to you right quick. He said how she wanted to hear it. She's like,
And yes,
go ahead and bite.
that was from Planet Nebru.
Go ahead and bite that fruit. Go ahead and bite that fruit.
Yeah, and K Dizzle, and we know that planet was Planet Nebru, Nibiria, if I'm saying it right. That the Anunnaki was definitely in Africa. They came to and this is the story of the Anunnakis, y'all. So he's point on that they came and they built us. They built us to basically mine gold because their planet was.
But this is the cross, though. This is the cross.
So gold is a what is it?
But I got to throw this in there. This is the part that throw everything off. Now, if the Anunnakis are the people that were the people who created people, meaning that we saying these are the angels right now. If these were the angels that created people, those people have to still be created by God. Now, even in the mentions, when you study, go back on the Anunnakis, they still mention one God that was over them as well. But they didn't want to do the work, right? So they made and created people. Where in the Bible it says God created people, and there's no middleman. If anything, the fallen angels, or we know them as angels and Anunnakis or whatever, they were made by God too. But he felt a more closeness and a more uniqueness, if that make any sense, to creating the human being from the soil of the earth. See, he made the Anunnaki spiritual out there in, we're just going to say outer space, in another dimension in heaven, as we know it on earth. But if he did that, he's felt that when he built the earth, he wanted to make man and woman from the soil of the earth. That's kind of where we kind of understand the jealousy came in, where the devil got a little jealous and upset because God, he kind of took favor to the human over him. Because you got to remember too, the devil was the head leader of the orchestra of heaven. He was the master of music, and harmony, songs, and all that. So even today, when people talk about, when you sign these record deals, you sign it with the devil. That's a literal way of saying that you're signing the contract directly to the devil, that you're selling your soul. Because the only thing the devil really wants, since he's been on this earth, is the soul of man. And it was kind of like I guess to this day, it's been a war between God and the devil. Like, look, I'm going to take the souls of your people, so you ain't going to have nothing no more. And God said, well, I'm just going to take the best of the people, because the best of the people going to be able to deal with wherever it happens to them on earth. I'm going to be able to get my good people through that, and they're going to be the people I take into heaven. And you and your fallen angels and everybody who follows you and your lead are not going to make it into heaven. That's what we've been understanding has been a battle from the very beginning. I'm just saying that because I'm just using that as a spiritual way, not to get wrapped up on the Anunnaki thing, because the Anunnaki, to a certain point, they only supposed to be angels, not creators of humans. Just putting that out there.
This is a good one. Now, on that thought, Dr. E, we building. So I'm not going to totally agree with you on that.
No, I understand. But I'm just bringing my research and understanding from what I understand about.
And that's what we're here for.
Not to go too far left and say that
I
these
think that we should get, you know what I think? You know what? Because he's been trying to get me to really go in this direction. And, you know, I do want to change my content into, I'm not really caring about the views at this point in time, because it's all about building in the era that we're in right now, because we all soul searching. So let's do it like this, Dr. E. I'm going to try to get Straight Talk Trevor over here because he loves these challenges, right? So I want to bring some to light to people, because Straight Talk Trevor, you guys, a very awesome dude, and he had Bible debates. He's very open-minded, and I've seen him answer a lot of things, so I want to put him to the test. But this one right here, let's see if Dr. E knows where Dub Dilla is going right here with this one. The forbidden fruit is pineal glands. Can you elaborate on that, Dr. E? I can't. I just want to see what you know.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand about that, it's about the spiritual and physical thing that is in the brain, but it's also in the spiritual realm, if I'm right, saying wording it right. It's supposed to be a way to tap into our actual soul and spirit. Is that correct?
Yep, and it's also your dream state.
Okay.
So your pineal glands, like your third eye in a sense, but not your third eye is. Usually they say the black man pineal glands open up at the age of 40. This is just one of the things that I heard, and that's why most of our leaders, they end up unaliving before they turn 40.
I believe that.
Because we have 12 holes in our pineal glands, and Europeans only have 2. And they've been doing scientific ways and studying the black man's pineal glands, because they're wondering why we have 12 holes in our pineal glands and they only have 2.
I believe there must be some truth to that, because like you said, they try to eliminate us before we turn 40 years old. And the fact that for those of us that's over 40 years old, we think much differently than we did when we was in our 20s.
Exactly. Doug Dilla say they eat us all the time. Our glands are manufactured into adrenochrome. There it is.
That's what science means.
Somebody ain't supposed to be here. I'm just saying, I don't want to go over. Our glands are forbidden fruit. KD says, I agree with that. That is how we access the astral planes. Bingo. Okay. Our power plug. Now we tracking. Let's go, y'all.
Then suddenly the story restarts. In Genesis chapter 2, the narrative shifts dramatically. Now the creation of humanity is told in a completely different way. A single man named Adam is formed from dust. A garden called Eden is planted. Adam is placed inside the garden. Later, Eve is created from Adam's rib. This second account is far more personal and mythic. But when placed side by side, the 2 chapters appear to describe 2 different creations. Genesis 1 describes humanity as a whole. Genesis 2 introduces a specific pair of humans placed in a controlled environment. This distinction becomes extremely important when we return to Cain. Because if humanity already existed outside Eden, then Cain entering the land of Nod suddenly makes sense. Long before the Bible was written, civilizations in Mesopotamia recorded their own origin stories on clay tablets. These were the Sumerian tablets.
So these are Sumerian tablets, y'all. This is the first language ever written. So they say the Anunnakis made the Sumerians. Sumerians are like an offspring of, the Egyptians are like the offspring of the Sumerians. So let's say Anunnaki, Sumerian, Egyptian. Let's continue. as they evolve.
Some of the most famous include the Atrahasis epic, the Eridu Genesis, the Enuma Elish. These texts are thousands of years older than the book of Genesis.
Then the book of Genesis. So now the Sumerian text, the first language, y'all, written language, first writing before the Bible. This is the stuff that they hide from us. So now this is the stuff that they hide. Now this is the story that the Sumerian text is saying.
And they tell a story that sounds strangely familiar. In the Sumerian traditions, the gods, known as the Anunnaki, rule the earth. But the gods face a problem. The lower gods, called the Igigi.
The Igigis were the lower gods. Let's continue.
Forced to perform exhausting labor. They dig.
Now this is where, right here, this is where, I think K Dizzle said this, which we know. They were here to mine gold, right here. So he's tracking. The Anunnaki definitely were in Africa. They came to our planet to mine gold, for gold, flakes, to deflect radiation that was destroying their planet. So that's where we at right now, everybody.
Owls. They build cities. They work the land. Eventually, the Igigi revolt. They refuse to continue the work. To solve the crisis, the higher gods decide to create a new species, a species designed specifically for labor. According to the Atrahasis epic, humanity is created by mixing clay with the blood of a god.
Kind of what they said about Adam and Eve in the second book, right, Dr. E? Out of clay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of listening to that part. But I'm going to say about this part too that I'm listening to about, and then I'm thinking about slavery. To a certain point, it kind of makes you wonder.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When they keep saying gods, and then they keep saying about slaves and certain people were built for this labor. Do you think that, I'm just going to say, the white culture, the European culture felt that way about the black African? Just asking.
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
You know, because I'm hearing all this, you know, like I said, the aliens did this and the Anunnaki, whatever they call themselves. But it's kind of like the same thing was repeated with the European culture. I wanted to say white, but I'll say European culture that enslaved the Africans, like they were built for this. And then they chose our particular culture, not just to build United States, but to build the world. I mean, you kind of look at it to this day. I'm just being, people may say I'm biased right now.
That's crazy though, isn't it? That's crazy.
I'm just saying that everything that was invented, everything that was invented in the United States was pretty much, when you break down the history, y'all can do your own research. But when you break down almost everything in history that we have in the United States, from traffic lights to washing machines to plows and tractors, the black culture, or the black man mainly, invented all this stuff. There's over 300, 500, I think, inventions that we have in this country that were made by black men, but they were slaves. I'll leave it right there.
Purpose is stated directly. Humans were made to do the work the gods no longer wanted to do. Humanity becomes a workforce species. When scholars compare the Sumerian text with Genesis, the similarities are difficult to ignore. In Genesis, Adam is formed from dust or clay. He is placed in a garden. His task is to work and tend the land. The Hebrew word used for this labor is abad. It means to serve, to work, or to labor for another. The same core idea appears in the Sumerian stories. Humans exist to maintain the land for the gods. Different cultures, different languages, but the same underlying pattern. The garden as a controlled space. In the Sumerian myth.
That's deep. It's almost like you said, slavery all over again.
Exactly.
Someone came to the planet and made us slaves because we let them in. They made us slaves. But like you said, there's so many missing pieces.
Because, you know, like you just said,
so
that
many distractions.
When they say it in an Anunnaki form, right? Let me say this: when they say it in an Anunnaki form, it's like we as humans together were put this way against the Anunnaki people. The aliens came down there and did this to us as people. But here on this
like
planet,
that's gonna happen again, right?
But let me finish my thought. But here on this planet, in the last 400 years, a particular culture, and I'm saying it again, the European culture did this to the African culture. And I'm saying European, meaning all the countries from England, Dutch, Portuguese, Spain, all these people enslaved the African people. Because they were the ones, I'm going to put one more thing on it for y'all to research again, the Moors who lived in Europe for 700 years brought civilization to Europe. These same people fought and lost the war and fled to Africa, and they became enslaved. You feel what I'm saying? And when they enslaved them, why did they enslave those particular people? Because they knew knowledge about everything. They were the smartest people, and they brought civilization to Europe. So when they went to the New World, we call United States and the North America and South America and the Caribbean, when they came to the New World, they brought those African people who had this knowledge of how to build and create things. That's why we invented the plow, the cotton gin, the traffic light, and the heart surgeries, and on, because we're the same people. I'll leave it right there.
No, that's true. But let me say this too. Me?
Well, you kind of breaking up.
Okay, so let's think of it like this, y'all. And right now, with the era and time that we living in now, it's like it doesn't have nothing to do with race or color now. It's just poor against rich, and it's seeming like what we were just watching with Amy Eskridge. All these scientists coming up missing because they're trying to put us in bondage again, preparing to do it again. And we're living in a time right now, but it's happening different. And it's not going to have to do with black people. It's going to have to do with
So you take that race factor, right? If you take that race factor out, then it makes us all human. That we talk about the Anunnaki situation. But what we seen repeated by those European people, they knew this knowledge and understanding of things and used that science against the African people to do the same exact thing. Now, once again, because of race is not, I guess you want to say to a certain point, importance anymore, it's becoming a human thing again. But why are they bringing this to the forelight now? That's the question.
Okay, let me read this. And I'm going to ask a question on this one. Clear people are notorious narrative changers. We were already here. There are hieroglyphics in caves of the Grand Canyon.
True.
They came with pew-pews, if I'm saying that right. Pow-pows. They came with pow-pows. Or we have never folded. LOL. So, with that being said, what about this alien agenda coming? Is that almost like the Anunnaki coming back? And they're you see what I'm saying, Dr. E? How it's like repeating itself.
I see both sides. Like I said, we kind of stuck in that
Project Blue Beam comes in.
But we stuck in that middle right there. Like you said, it's one side human against the Anunnakis. We're just gonna use that. You know, I'm saying the fallen angels, but it's the Anunnakis.
Or aliens, or in our era now, aliens.
Are aliens. It's us against them. But as people on this planet, a particular culture I keep bringing up took it upon themselves to use that same formula to enslave another group of people. And it worked for over 400 years. 500 in the Caribbean. So altogether 500 years plus of slavery. Now, I'm just going to use one more additive to that. when the Moors went to Europe for 780 years, they never enslaved anybody, but it was a war at first. The war turned into a helping situation. A helping situation turned into a unity. But it was a group of people who said, no, we don't like these particular people. And they used race, which is a color, to determine who was this and who was that. And these people that were Europeans said, we're going to be white and they're going to be black. And that's how we're going to end up conquering them and unite together so we can take over the nation and push them out of Europe. That's how slavery comes about, that they really don't teach you in school, because that's what happened in the Dark Ages. They tell you a little bit about the Dark Ages, but not a lot about the war and what it was really about. And when you even put the Dark Ages on it, it lets you know that it was a dark continent of people that were ruling. But we didn't learn that in school. We just learned it was called the Dark Ages. Now you go back
when they
on
had
it.
the Black Plague, right? That's the Dark Ages
Right.
had the Black Plague.
Not the Black Plague. It was called the bubonic plague.
The bubonic plague. My bad.
Right, and that bubonic plague is something that we helped them out of. We helped them to learn how to wash themselves, bathe themselves, and I say we because I'm saying we as Black people, as a culture.
Which the Moors were the ones that teach them to do that, right?
Right, and they taught them how to, all these things we hear about in Greece. We hear about how they had irrigation system and bathhouses and stuff like that. We taught them how to make the clean water run from, you taking a shower in the bath to run down to another kind of like, a septic tank or whatever the case may be. Yeah. You're right. You got your pure water over here. You got your septic tank water over here. They were just doing everything on the same thing, meaning you're draining your water and then you're drinking the same water you bathed in. They didn't have, I guess, when you want to say common sense, they weren't using it. So we came in and helped them. Like the reason y'all having these diseases and stuff, because y'all not using common sense. Y'all not using proper hygiene technology, or information. They were like, what do you mean by that? Well, you got your bath water. You take your bath. You don't want that water running into your same water that you're drinking. And at that time, they didn't have filtration systems and stuff like that. So we taught them, over here's your bad water and over here's your good water. Don't mix them up.
And if I can answer this question here before we continue, Dr. E.
No,
I love it. But it says here the aliens will protect us from world destruction. Now you can take that two ways, Lily, because if we destroy ourselves, right, the aliens wouldn't have no more blood to use, right, to survive, right? You could go that way too. Because if the planet doesn't exist, and if everything's off, allegedly blood sacrifices, they have no more blood to drink if we destroy ourselves.
Well, question on what she's saying now. Keep it on. I guess keep it flowing. If these alien people, are they all what's the word I'm looking for? Cannibals? Do they eat people? Do they eat flesh? Are we like animals to them? Like chickens? You know what I mean? Or
now Phil Snyder said our blood is like cocaine to them.
So are we like the animals in their food chain? Is that all the aliens?
But they don't eat they don't like the bones. They just want the blood.
But we also hearing about it's different types of aliens. So there are just like this different type of people. So are all aliens cannibals? Do they eat flesh, or do some animals?
I think that would be interesting to look into. I can I'll do that on the next segment. I think
There you go.
We got to follow up on this today after tomorrow. I have to send some things back because I think put one in the chat if you guys want to get a little bit more deeper, because I do have more videos so similar to this. So I just want to get some feedback from the people in here. If you guys want to get more into these discussions, please put a 1 in the chat.
Because I think some of the aliens are actual vegetarians. That's why I think some of us are on that same note. Not all of us as humans like to eat meat. And where did that come from? And to a certain point, are the aliens the same way? Like, look, if you want to live a healthy life and live a great life and yada, 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 you won't eat meat. And then at the same time, we have the others over there eating humans, like you're saying, and eating hearts and whatever the case may be. The way some of like native tribes go out there and go kill a buffalo and eat the heart.
Okay,
you feel
thanks,
what I'm,
Kay. Yeah, I'm
you feel what I'm
listening.
saying?
Mm-hmm. Now I was just saying thank you because we got a one in the chat, so we do got somebody that want to continue to have these conversations. I'm quite interested into this type of stuff because I like to, because it's so crazy now when you sharing certain content on where they trying to knock your channel down, gang, and so I think that we're headed in the right direction. So let's continue.
The gods often establish sacred garden-like environments tied to divine rule. In Genesis, Eden functions in a similar way. It is a managed space, a place where the first humans are placed under supervision. Adam's role is clear. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. This is the beginning of a specific assignment. But the narrative itself leaves the door open. Because once Cain leaves Eden, he immediately encounters other people. When Cain travels east, the Bible does not describe him entering an empty wilderness. The land of Nod appears to be a place where human society already existed. According to the Sumerian king list, civilization itself was believed to have been granted by divine beings. In that sense, the biblical story of Cain building the first city may preserve a distant memory of the same ancient belief. When the Hebrew authors composed Genesis, they were living in a world already shaped by Mesopotamian mythologies. The same core ideas remain, but the story is rewritten through a new theological lens. The many gods of the Sumerians become one god. The complex divine hierarchy disappears. The narrative is simplified, yet traces of the older traditions remain embedded in the story. Small details, strange questions, like Cain's fear of other people, or the mysterious civilization already waiting in the land of Nod, east of Eden, east of the earliest rivers of Mesopotamia, toward lands that would later become some of the most important regions in ancient history, the lands of Elam, the Iranian Plateau, and the ancient civilizations that rose there long before the classical Persian Empire. And perhaps, if some ancient traditions are to be believed, into lands where knowledge far older than the Bible itself was already waiting.
Hi, my name is Tami, and I would like to give you a few reasons why you should consider dating a young Asian lady. You can choose a potential spouse from Vietnam.
Edit.
Before the rise of the great Iranian empires, and even before much of the biblical world had taken shape, there existed an ancient civilization on the eastern edge of Mesopotamia. This was Elam. One of the oldest known civilizations in human history, thriving for thousands of years in what is now southwestern Iran. It stood directly at the crossroads between the world of Sumer, where the earliest records of the Anunnaki appear, and the vast eastern lands of the Iranian plateau. Elam was the gateway between two worlds. It emerged around 3000 BC and continued as a powerful civilization until roughly 539 BC, when it was absorbed into the expanding Persian Empire. Its territory covered parts of modern Iranian provinces, such as Khuzestan and Elam, extending at times into southern Iraq. The capital city of Elam was Susa, one of the oldest continuously occupied settlements in the world. Susa sat in a strategic position between the fertile plains of Mesopotamia and the mountainous interior of Iran. Trade routes, cultural exchanges, and military campaigns constantly flowed through the region. Because of this location, Elam became deeply intertwined with the civilizations of Sumer, Akkad, Babylon, and Assyria. Like the Sumerians, the Elamites
Sumerian
believed in a
texts.
complex pantheon of divine beings. One of their most important gods was Inshushinak, the patron deity of Susa and a god of kingship, justice, and the underworld. Other major Elamite deities included Napirisha, Kiririsha, and Humban. Many of these gods were closely connected to Mesopotamian traditions. The cultures of Elam and Sumer influenced one another constantly. Over time, they even shared religious ideas, temples, and mythological figures.
Ancient Elam was not some distant, isolated culture cut off from Sumer. It was tied to Mesopotamia from the very beginning.
Now, I'm going to keep this on the timeline due to the fact that it's getting a little late, but we're going to add to this. Again, I got one in the chat. I'm going to try to make it my business to do this on Sundays, but I think we should do this a little bit more during the week. What do you think, Dr. E? Because I like where we're going with this, along with
I think Sundays is a good day to fill in. But I think maybe a Wednesday or something like that, like a hump day, because it can kind of go maybe from current events to this particular thing, because I think it's kind of tying in together. But then for that Sunday vibe, when it comes to religion, I think this is something that can really hit that note, because you see here that religion and science is coming together. Even though we taught in school that they supposed to be two separate things, no matter what nobody says, it keeps coming together over and over and over again. So I think we need to hit on that, because it needs to be spoken on, because it's really coming back to that spirituality and science is coming together, and we have to find a balance between the two.
That's
to get
true.
the real understanding.
I totally agree. And yeah, with that being said, y'all, we covered a lot. And there's more. I'm gonna go ahead and continue this with a little bit of Ashwaquazi mix, because it's all gonna, I do a lot of research, you guys. I'm gonna create another timeline and go back into what we studying. Because we're starting to see what's happening now. I'm also going to cover the Project Blue Beam. I got some good stuff on that too, because that's where I think we're actually headed. I think they're trying to enslave us, y'all, and they're trying to get rid of the people that can actually help us get from being in bondage. We're just seeing so many distractions. I know everybody's been watching this Epstein situation, and it all boils down to that. The Epstein is the biggest thing that they're trying to hide, because for one, it is unbelievable, and a little bit of leaked information.
Well, we don't want to believe
that part.
We don't want to think our president and the powers that be and the rich elite people are eating and sacrificing children. That's what it is.
And there is a little bit of breaking news. Did y'all hear what happened? I'm gonna cover this just a little bit. I'm gonna show you guys. This just came out. I had it, but I was gonna do it on another show. But let's go ahead and let me give y'all a little quick glance on what happened here. So now, which is kind of like breaking news. This came out the other day. Let me go to my files real quick, everybody, and show you guys this real quick. Again, which they trying to switch the narrative. Again, this is breaking news. This is out. I also have another clip, which kind of I didn't want to. So this is what's going on behind the scenes. So every time the Epstein files get ready to surface, so this is what's been going on behind the scenes, y'all. Recently. So all of a sudden we got a shooting at the White House. Yeah, right. We got a shooting at the White House when this just come out. Again, they trying to take it off Trump. This is the distraction of where they trying to take it off Trump at, y'all. Watch.
Was Kellen a
hit the like button
vulnerable and helpless victim, or was she a willing participant in Epstein's alleged sex trafficking organization? The House Oversight Committee tried to get answers this week from her during a highly anticipated closed-door interview.
Of all the people that we've interviewed thus far, this was by far the most substantive and productive.
Why does it have to be a closed interview, Dr. E?
I'm asking too.
Why does it have to be closed? Why we can't see nothing that has to do with Epstein? Right? So this is breaking news. Look, y'all. This came out day before yesterday.
Interview that we've had.
We're breaking down what we know about Sarah Kellen, her deep connections to Jeffrey Epstein, and more about those names. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Sarah Kellen. You've likely heard that name come up in connection with Jeffrey Epstein and his alleged criminal empire, which was reportedly devoted to satisfying his sexual desires. When you look at the government files connected to Epstein, it is essentially exposed Kellen as allegedly being one of Jeffrey Epstein's right-hand women, alongside, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell. So it is a big deal that she agreed to come forward and speak with the House Oversight Committee about her time in Epstein's inner circle. She appeared Thursday for a closed-door interview with committee members where she was questioned 4 hours by lawmakers from both sides of the aisle. Committee Chairman James Comer spoke with reporters before this interview got underway.
This is a witness that was a personal assistant to Mr. Epstein. She was also a victim of Mr. Epstein. So we're bringing in, we have a lot of questions about everything from the day-to-day activities to what she saw and what she knows, and hopefully it'll help as we proceed in the investigation. It's going to be a tough interview. Of all the interviews we've done, this is going to be the toughest one. I'm here to listen and learn. Obviously, I can't imagine the scenario that she was in, and obviously we know enough about Epstein to know that he was a terrible person and he was abusing these women. Now, it appears to me the Department of Justice considered her, not necessarily a co-conspirator, but rather, I don't want to say whistleblower, but someone that aided in the prosecution of Epstein. So we've just got a lot of questions about that. I know how the Department of Justice viewed her. I don't know how the Oversight Committee will view her. We're obviously, she's presumed innocent. She's going to have due process, and I appreciate her being here today. And we certainly look forward to her testimony. But again, it's going to be hard because, there's some that believe she was, 100% a victim or survivor. And then there's some that think she was a victim and victimizer. So it's just a terrible scenario. I've read her story. I've read her opening statement, and I know that, this is going to be a tough one for us.
Now, Kellen has been described as Epstein and Maxwell's as basically an assistant, a staffer, with one source reportedly telling the New York Post in 2024 that Kellen, quote, had a front row seat to the debauchery. And Kellen's name is mentioned many times in the Epstein Files library on the DOJ website. And there are candid photos of her spending time around Maxwell and Epstein and powerful friends. Her name can be seen on passenger manifests for private jet flights, like this manifest, which shows her traveling with Epstein, French fashion model scout, and alleged sexual predator Jean-Luc Brunel, and 3 people just listed as female. So here's how a civil lawsuit, okay, that was filed against Epstein, just how it described Sarah Kellen. This was filed more than a decade ago, but it described her as, quote, defendant Jeffrey Epstein's key lieutenant in the organization was defendant Sarah Kellen, who served as both his scheduler and a recruiter procurer of the girls. And despite those allegations, and despite being named in official investigations, Kellen has never faced any sort of criminal charges related to sex trafficking or abuse or exploitation or anything else. I'm going to talk about why. In fact, she was reportedly included in a Florida non-prosecution agreement that got Epstein off the hook for federal charges. Remember this? It was the alleged assault of young girls at his Palm Beach mansion. Again, I'll get more into that in a minute, but first, I just want you to read some of Kellen's own words that were written as part of an opening statement.
I'm going to go through a little bit, breeze through.
We'll be releasing the transcript as quickly as possible.
Some names,
I know there's some names of some victims that she also mentioned. We're going to have to agree on redactions and things like that. But as far as the men that were abusers, alleged abusers, then we'll the whole world will see that and we'll be able to move forward.
And those three men,
they shot around the dick. They just washed the dick. You know what I'm saying?
And again, these are allegations.
Names.
Hair mogul Frederick Fekkai, former Miami Beach Mayor Philip Levine, and fashion photographer Patrick Demarchelier. Now, Demarchelier died back in 2022. He was known for famous portraits of everyone from Princess Diana to Janet Jackson. He worked closely with fashion magazines like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. He was also an official royal photographer for the British royal family, which is interesting given former Prince Andrew's ties to Epstein and the rampant allegations of sexual assault and abuse that have been leveled against him. When it comes to hairstylist Frederick Fekkai, Bloomberg actually published an article earlier this year after uncovering his apparent connection to Epstein and the thousands of files that were released by the DOJ. And according to Bloomberg's reporting, Epstein had accounts at Fekkai's ritzy New York salons. Reporters combed through Epstein's credit card statements, and they found that he spent a crazy amount of money at Fekkai's businesses, paying for expensive hair and spa treatments for a lot of different people, including, the allegation is, former White House counsel Kathy Rumler. Fekkai often appears in Epstein's emails, as previously acknowledged flying on his private jet. And what about former Miami Beach Mayor Philip Levine? So the businessman became mayor in
What about Donald Trump? So now we got the shooting, got the shit with Taiwan. It was just supposed to go ahead and bomb Iran yesterday. They about to bomb them because it was getting close. So now as the distraction happens, after whatever other distraction they get ready to come up with, they gonna blame these three guys. They trying to put them in the mix and bury Donald Trump trash.
What are they saying? The war is over again? I really forgot. Is it over the oil? And who can go through the straits or whatever? That what is over? Or is it really about Stargate that we don't know about? I'm just saying. All that stuff is the distraction. Oh, we worry about oil. We're not bringing all that oil stuff up again. We passed through the oil fields over here in Texas back and forth. And those pumps be working, whether they working or not. It's just like it be busy as hell for about what? How many
some other time don't we back to eat?
Right, about 8 hours of oil fields. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of oil over here. So they got crude oil and the other oil they make gas out of, whatever. All that stuff from Houston all the way to the top tip end of Oklahoma and surrounding states like Louisiana too. And Nebraska or whatever, they have oil fields in the middle of the cornfields. We have plenty of oil over here that we say we are reserved. Why would we want to use reserve and have the oil go up? I'm just saying, up to $8 in gas in California, when we can just use our own oil and wouldn't have to worry about buying other people's oil.
He's the same one that said we had sweet oil, that we have plenty of oil and everything. Then why did the fuel prices go so high then?
And why are we over there fighting supposedly a war that they stare and looking at each other? Because that's not really a war. You just stare and looking at each other. But why are we even over there fighting over who goes in and out of a port? And why are we over in Iran and fighting Iran and Iraq and being in the middle of all this bull stuff anyway when we got our own oil over here? So reserve means you're supposed to use it for emergency. This is an emergency. So why are we using their oil still and making the fuel go up to $8 a gallon in California? It's
because
about
he better
$4
send
now.
his troops over there and lose their lives. Of them videotapes of him allegedly doing something to them little children don't come out.
And that's a whole nother thing. You got a dude
There
in
it is.
office that's got 34 felonies that still became president. I say that every time I get on the show. And then you got the fact, because I'm not Democrat or Republican, just for those who know, I'm not either party, but it's ideal that you got a guy in office with 34 felonies. If I was running for president with one felony, I wouldn't be allowed to even run for mayor. So anyway, all this is being said, you got a guy with 34 felonies that all the felonies got dropped and he became the president of the United States anyway. What are they telling you right in your face at that point? Republicans are Democrats. It don't matter what your political party is. It don't matter what kind of felons you have or whatever. If the society and a group of people, secret society, wants you into an office, they're going to put you in office no matter what you vote for. Period.
Look, and Tulsi Gabbard, if I said it right, National Director of Intelligence just happened to have resigned Wednesday.
I wonder why. Dude just don't give up a lifetime job for nothing until someone get ready to come out that they don't want the word to know about. So for out of mind, out of sight, nobody gonna question it. So when they resign for these positions, they take all their money with them. They go off to an island somewhere, and everybody forget about them. Then that even goes to, like, I'm gonna break it down. That even goes to the presidents or local officials. Every time they resign from office, what happens to them? They disappear out the media. As long as they're in position, they're in the media's attention. As soon as they get out the media attention and resign from their position and take their money and be happy, they forget they forget all about them. And they go from the industry to the presidents to the mayors to even at presidents at schools and universities. I'll just put it that way. When they get to stealing some money or come up with allegations, they'll say, hey, I resigned from the position. Usually every time they resign from position, people forget all about what they did after about a year or two. And then it's like they get away. They don't go to jail. They don't go to prison. And they've been embezzled thousands of dollars. Just saying.
Tomorrow, make sure y'all tap in. We'll be going on a little bit early, about 8 o'clock. The subject is, we will have probably a full panel. It's going to be a lot of people with different, but the subject is, do you think women should always submit to a man? Now, we got some clips to go over. Make sure you come on to the live tomorrow. We'll be posting it on the timeline. Make sure y'all come tap in, y'all. We finna go all the way in, y'all. And you know it's gonna be lit. We gonna have Diamond in the building, Dr. E in the building, probably Chandelier in the building, some OGs in the building. Hey, let's talk about relationships today. Hit that like button, double tap the screen. We really enjoyed y'all tonight. Hopefully we gave y'all some brain food and put a little fat on your brain tonight, y'all. And that's what we do. Again, I will be adding to this, and we will continue to smash down with this content so we can keep people's eyes open, so we are aware of what's going on. Project Blue Beam coming up, y'all. We just gonna keep shit coming. Smash it. This is Band-Aid Gang. I'm C-Dub, Mr. I ain't said a word, but you know what I'm saying? And I said, damn. And I'm with Dr. E. Band-Aid Gang. Thank you guys for joining. Anything you want to say, Dr. E, before we smile out?
No, you got to on the top. Follow up with it. Everybody needs to be enlightened and follow up on something. If you think you don't agree on something, follow up and do some research. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
We hope to see y'all in live tomorrow, y'all. Just come and throw some love. Always motivation is good, y'all. That's what keeps us going, y'all. Band-Aid Gang. And we out. Peace. Thank you, K Dizzle. I love you. I love everybody's participation. Dub Dilla. Just all you guys came in. Lily, Damon, the Band-Aid Gangs was up in here. Coral, Nurse 59, Ruby, Tex. All of you guys. Thank you guys for coming in. Neo. Thank you guys for coming in and joining us tonight. Peace and love. May your days be blessed. Bob Cars, thank you for settling down before we shot you to the moon, because we ain't got no problem doing that. Yeah. But thank you. Truth be told, we love you. Band-Aid gang, and we out. Peace.